Wondery Plus subscribers can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free right now. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
Your weekly dose of romance and drama has arrived. Season 29 of The Bachelor is here, and Grant Ellis, certified hottie and former day trader, is trading his day job on Wall Street for a second chance at everlasting love. New episodes drop every Monday at 8/7 Central, bringing you fresh twists in Grant's journey to find his soulmate. This self-proclaimed mama's boy is all grown up and ready to invest his heart. Will his playful charm win over the house full of hopefuls, or will the competition prove too intense? From heartfelt moments to adrenaline-pumping dates, each week brings new surprises in the mansion. Will Grant find his perfect match or end up with a broken heart? Tune in every Monday at 8/7 Central on ABC and stream on Hulu for new episodes of The Bachelor.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Hello and welcome to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Yay indeed, Jimmie. Yay indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I am Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you folks so much for joining us today on another wild, crazy, insane, swerving and dodging, death-defying edition of Crime and Sports. As I hope you guys listened to last week. A few of you didn't, judging by numbers, which is funny because every once in a while we'll put up like something that's a weird, different story. It's kind of an experiment to see where you guys are at.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, this is one of the best stories we've ever had, but it took place in the 1930s and 40s and no one ever heard of this guy. Let's see if it matters. And it way matters more if you know the guy than if the story's good. So I don't know I don't understand. I don't understand you people is what I'm getting at. Put it that way. I don't understand you, but we're happy that you're here.
Right.
And thank you for that. And we do have to say thank you to everybody this week who has gone above and beyond the call of duty for us and done wonderful things for us, like reviews on Apple Podcasts. Yeah. That purple icon, they're so helpful. We don't know why.
It's weird.
That's what's. I understand that even less than I understand your taste in stories. So I don't understand why it counts so much, but it helps drive you up the charts when you have reviews for some reason.
Seems to.
It does. Factually, I don't know why. That's the problem. But if you want to help out the show, you can do it very easily. Go to that purple icon there, Apple Podcasts, and give us 5 stars. Doesn't matter what you say. You can say you're following instructions, following directions. These guys forced me to do this. It doesn't matter. What matters is that the review is up there, and it helps on the business end. Also, go to shutupandgivememurder.com. That's very important. Get all of your small town murder and crime and sports needs taken care of right there. We have all sorts of cool new merch up, just all sorts of new stuff up there. So check that out. And from there, there's links that will take you to make you an even bigger hero to us. Yeah. A producer.
Oh,
we're going to talk about at the end of the show. These people are our life's blood. They keep the show going.
Right.
They really do. So, if you like the show, you can thank them as well.
Absolutely.
Because they are awesome, awesome people. If you want to be one of those producers, if you want to join the club, you can do it very easily by going to patreon.com/crimeandsports or head over to PayPal and use our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com. And you can get to both of those places from one easy spot. Where's that, Jimmie?
Oh, that's over at shutupandgivememurder.com.
That is correct, sir. Absolutely. Thank you for that, and thank you for all of you've done. And we have a big announcement for everybody today. Big announcement. Looks like based on what we're doing here, you guys are guaranteed. It looks like 2 more years of Crime and Sports.
Well, look at this.
Look at that. Looks like we came to an agreement to do that. So looks like Crime and Sports 2 more years of it. After that, I doubt that we're going to have any stories left or anything worth telling.
Right.
So 2 more years.
Plenty of stories. They're just like
We think 6
They end
years.
quick.
We think 6 years would be a good run for crime and sports.
Pretty solid.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's enough. So we're gonna put an expiration date on it for probably 2 years from now in this form.
Right.
After the 2 years, who knows?
Who knows?
We might figure out a way to make this into something different. But 2 more years, so you got over 100 more episodes. So sit back and enjoy them, and especially enjoy today's episode.
Great.
It's interesting, man. We have some interesting shit. First of all, first I have to say, last week, seriously, if you didn't listen to that episode, because you're like, oh, who is this? A race car driver?
Right.
Listen to the episode. It has nothing
wild.
to do with racing. It has everything to do with a psychopath from the 30s and 40s running around going, yeah, see, I'll slash your face, see? And like punching cops at the drop of a hat for no reason.
For nothing.
People just, hey, how you doing? What's your name, pal? He's like, get away from me, copper. And he knocks him out for some reason, breaking cops' teeth and busting eyeglasses into their eyes and slashing women's face. The guy's a crazy person, an absolute menace to society, and one of the craziest people we've had in the previous 182 episodes before that. And so you need to check that out. But this week we have a very, very weird, interesting story. It's he's kind of the poster boy for not the violent NFL, because there's 2 types of NFL criminal that people think about. We're back into the brain damage sports this week. Obviously, we're talking about the NFL. For brain damage will come up this week. There's 2 types. There's the ultra violent. There's the Greg Hardy NFL criminal, where people are like, oh Jesus Christ, this guy, and he's beating his wife and he's doing horrible things, and video of them, punching women and dragging them through lobbies and shit like that. You've got that guy. And then you have the fuck up. Then you have the fuck up where it's like, what did he do now? Jesus, stop. Take a fucking cab, you idiot.
Ryan Leaf, stay out of your mom's house.
Stay out of your mom's house. This one, stop driving with guns and your fucking blood full of booze, please, for the love of God. That guy. This is more along the lines of that guy, but what ended up happening to him and the story that unfolded around him is just bonkers. It really is insane. It's weird, man. Let's get right into this. Let's do it. It's Christopher Demore Henry. Chris Henry.
Oh, yeah.
Chris Henry, the wide receiver, NFL, mid-2000s.
Titans?
No,
that's the other Henry. That's the running back.
That's the
God damn it.
no.
I got this. Bengals.
There you go.
Hey, now.
There you go.
Yahtzee.
You know what, though? When I first clicked on him, I thought he played for the Bengals and the Titans for some reason. I think it was just a Pac-Man Jones scenario because they both played for the Bengals at the same time. They both had very similar problems. And
then there's Travis Henry.
Then there's Travis Henry. Yeah, there's also Travis Henry, the old running back.
Right.
And,
that's the guy that I'm remembering. Yeah. And he played for the Bengals and I think
Bills.
the Broncos.
Travis Henry was on the Bills for a while.
Was it Chris Henry that played for the Broncos?
Yeah, there's a lot of Henrys, Jimmy. A lot of them. Wait till we get to the mistaken identities. Oh,
God
boy.
Damn it.
I had a lot to choose from. Like 1,400 of them. Oh, Henry. Who is it?
That's
Henry VIII? Who'd Henry VIII play for?
He is I Am. That's all I know. And that is a long song.
That's true. I believe he played for the Titans, though, also. So it's fine. So Chris Henry, born May 17th, 1983, in Belle Chasse. Louisiana is the hardest places to pronounce
French
of anywhere in the world. It's Southern and from another language. So you've taken French and then bastardized it into some weird Southern shit in pronunciation. So I have no idea if it's proper French or if it's a Southern
bastardized English language.
Who knows?
To try to pronounce that bastardized shit.
I don't know what's down there. Is what's going on here. I don't know. I have New Orleans and Baton Rouge. I'm pretty sure that's how you say that, and everything else is up for debate. It's up for grabs.
That's almost how you pronounce that word. I don't know how it's really pronounced in the South.
We have no idea,
but we'll find out because we're probably going to go there this year.
Yes, maybe it's possible. So Henry here, Chris. He's born. His parents are Carolyn and David. Father's middle name is Henry, so that's where that came from. His father's last name is Henry and mother's last name is Lee. Dad not really around much as a kid here, but he has 5 uncles that are always there. He has a lot of family around him, a lot of cousins, a lot of uncles, a lot of things like that.
Very Southern.
He's very Southern, and he's got a lot of male role models when it comes to that. He's got an uncle named Arthur that would play basketball with him every day and do shit. Like, he had a lot of people around. He wasn't kind of on his own. Some of these people we talk about, these athletes when they're kids, they're like, their mother would work 2 jobs and then they would just go out and run the streets at night and shit like that. And this isn't that situation. There's always somebody watching him and that sort of thing. He's from, this is outside of Louisiana. It's or outside of New Orleans. It's a suburb of New Orleans. And I'm using air quotes for that because the South it's so hard to explain. It's so weird. I remember my father lived in North Carolina for a little while. Right. He lived outside of Raleigh, which North Carolina is the South, but it's a milder version of the South. Yeah. As we if you go to North Carolina and then you go to Alabama, those are different places. People from North Carolina are like, these goddamn hillbillies down here. I don't know what the fuck's going on. Like they're going to look down on that. They're different. It's just different. But they have in the South, like there's ghetto. There's like, okay, here's a bunch of shitty apartments and things like that. And then there's country ghetto. Right. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. They don't have that here. They don't have that in New York. There's no country ghetto. Right. You either live on a farm or you live in a town or a city, and that's that. There's no like, it's like dirt roads and there's chickens running around, but it's also the ghetto and there's little houses. It's weird.
And that's where Randy Moss is from.
That's exactly right. And that's the kind of, a lot of football players are from the South. So you'll get that country ghetto shit.
They fish. It's fucking weird.
That's what I mean. It's, you got like people who are like, I'm in a gang and I fish.
Right.
Like, what? Those two things don't go together. What are you talking about?
I got to sell this Coke so I can buy me a new skeeter boat.
Man, that chartreuse spinnerbait's looking good for them bass right now. They'd be chomping on that shit. It's weird, right? It's strange.
Set you claim.
Yeah. The bass killers.
It's wild, man.
Jesus Christ. The fucking walleyes. So... Now, his uncle...
You one of those carp?
You one of those carp motherfuckers? Hell no. This is walleye territory, bitch. Stay out of my fucking place.
There are carp and bass around here. That's what it is. Crippin' bloods.
Motherfucker gonna get kelped up in this bitch if you keep coming around. That's right. No, I'm taking that shit.
Better back up. I got my stink bait on me.
That's right. Pop a kelp in your ass. So...
Ridiculous.
Oh, Jesus. His Uncle Arthur says of where he grew up, and his Uncle Arthur we kind of talked to a few times over the course of this. He seemed to be the one that was closest to him as a kid. And Arthur says about where they're from, this community was country. We wasn't rich by any means, but Chris had all the love and attention he could ever want. Okay. So his uncles were all into sports too, and got Chris into sports. He started playing football at 5. Yeah. I mean, as soon as you could stick a helmet on him and it wouldn't just rattle and make him fall down forward, they threw him out there. So go ahead.
As soon as it was snug enough.
Yeah, that's it. Go ahead. He played football since he was 5, but then he kind of got more into basketball later on because he's a tall, thin guy. Yeah. He's like he's 6'4" and he's listed at 200, but whatever.
He's 6'4"?
Yeah, he's 6'4". He's my height, and pretty much my same proportions. Yeah. So I get
I didn't realize he was that big.
Hey, he's a tall guy. He's one of those dangerous wide receivers who's a hard matchup because your corners are 5'10". Right. And it's 6'4" is just a lot of arms
and
a lot
jump higher, that's all.
You can get up higher, your wingspan is more, you can just kind of blot the sun out from a guy if you want to. Right. You're just bigger than them, so it's harder. As you've seen Randy Moss just have terrible position and just go over someone's head and take a ball back in the day. You're like, Jesus Christ, that's 6'4".
And that's his arms
to 5'10".
That's his arms out and the back has his arms up.
That's what I mean. And he's going up over and
still plucks it out of the air.
The reason for that is because I actually did some research. I was talking to Sarah about something, and we were trying to see her height, how many people in the country are her height, and how many people. Turns out 6'4" and above is 1% of the male adult United States population. It's 1% and above. So when I go, why don't I fit in anything? Why is every chair uncomfortable? Because it's not fucking made for me. No. That's why.
We aren't aiming for you.
No, it's made for 99% of everybody else, which makes sense. Yeah. That's why there's nothing fucking fits. I'm like, why don't they make shit for tall people? Because why would you? It's not profitable.
It's not.
It would be stupid
to.
The
overhead is ridiculous.
Yeah, it's way overhead. So, and that's another thing I'm going to talk about is I don't know if everybody's heard every episode, so I have to say this. As a tall person, I always talk about how like NFL offensive linemen and defensive linemen, when they have concussions and they have CTE later on, I go, look, that guy was 6'5". he could have had CTE just from living his life without even playing football.
From walking around.
I swear to God, I probably have 3 concussions a year from hitting I'm not even fucking kidding.
Don't go back east, James.
Trust me, I remember.
I mean, like Boston, all that shit's built for midgets.
I grew up in a goddamn finished basement in high school where the doorway between the 2 rooms was about 6'2". So I have taken literally feet overhead, taken myself out many times on that, and just hit. How often do I hit my fucking head when you're around me?
My favorite time.
Constantly.
My favorite time you hit your head was being mad at a show, wandering around the green room. You hit the same lamp 3 times.
Oh God, I was mad. Yeah, fucking St. Louis.
Couldn't remember that it was there.
Why was it just dangling at 6 foot fucking tall? Put it up. And it was metal and it hurt. And then it didn't have a shade on it. It was a metal fucking like an army lamp.
And it was the one in the middle of the room, and the one in the corner was tucked nicely up against the ceiling.
Assholes. The one in the middle of the room I can hit my head on constantly. So
the one in the walking path.
Yeah. Well, what I'm getting at is these guys who are taller and play football and bang their heads, they're already in for a lot more concussions than your average person because they've hit their head on so much shit. Now, it sounds like a joke, but it really fucking isn't. I'm not kidding. I'm dead serious.
I wish I recorded all the times that you did it.
That's what I mean.
And had it all on video because I would put it to like Quiet Riot's bang your head and just a montage of you walking into shit.
It's a total yakety sax, and you could like rewind me, have me do it again. I want yakety sax. Then you can go 3 steps back and then forward again. Keep hitting my head. Speed up the tape of me, wandering off, going, oh, Jesus, my head.
Jesus. That was right on the button.
Yeah.
That's the ending of the video. Yeah. When that little button on top of the hat.
I've done that a few times.
I've heard it from your mouth probably 6 times.
That's
right on the button.
How many times have you, you've probably seen me hit my head more times than you've hit your head in the last 20 years. Yeah. And that's just when you're around, which is not that often. So think about all the rest of the time.
The majority of times I've ever hit my head is coming up too fast from being under a vehicle. You know what I mean?
Well, that's,
and then whacking your head on like the door or a trailer hitch or something. But it's never anything hanging from a ceiling. It's literally never ever in my life been anything hanging from a ceiling.
Cabinets, doorways, fucking, you name
Nothing.
it. A plane wing one time. No long story there, but yeah, it's not great. So this is what I'm getting at. So right away, 6'4", he's hit his head a few times.
Yeah,
we'll just say that now. Now basketball. His uncle Arthur really pushed basketball on him because he's like a tall, thin kid,
right? And
kind of the ideal frame for basketball, and very athletic. Chris is athletic as shit too. I mean, he's fast, he can jump, he's a real athlete, and he says though, his uncle, this is funny. His uncle said that Chris hit a growth spurt at 15, and that's when he, went up to his adult height. And he said at that point he stopped playing on one-on-one with him, and that was that. He said he's never beat me because I never gave him the chance to. He was tall enough. He's like, all right, that's enough.
But he dunked. His dick was in my mouth.
You got this.
I don't want to do that again.
I'm done with that. Once his balls grazed my forehead, I said it was time to call it a day.
Let's quit.
Yeah. So he wasn't really into football that much until the high school coach saw him and saw he had a big wingspan and he's an athlete, and they're like, Jesus Christ, he could be a receiver. And this is in the late 90s, and that tall receiver was kind of coming into vogue at this point. This was when Randy Moss was a star, and you see a guy with that frame and that kind of athleticism, and you go, shit, that's, Moss was a basketball player. Right. Receiver's a good place for a basketball player. Tight end and receiver are very good for ball players because it's the positioning on a rebound and positioning to get a ball are very similar. Sure. The way you move your body, it's a lot of instinctual shit. It's one of those things. Dennis Rodman would have been a very good wide receiver.
Yeah.
He really would have been. So,
and a 6'10", that's pretty fucking great.
That would have been insane. Yeah, 6'8". 6'8". Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
That's too tall though. They would have taken his legs out, and
probably.
He would have been,
he'd have gone up in the middle of the field on a cross route.
How many 6'8" receivers you see out there?
He'd play 3 downs.
Yeah.
And
you're too much of a target there. That's not great.
He's already a lunatic enough.
Yeah, you just don't see 6'8" football players really, like 3 offensive linemen maybe, and they were like, look how big he is.
Right. And they get them as wide as they are tall.
Exactly. And they have knee injuries for forever.
Yeah.
His coach here in high school, Bob Becknell, he said, quote, I just kept putting it in his ear. He became one of the fiercest competitors we've ever had.
All right.
After that, he started playing organized here in high school football in his sophomore year in high school. So 10th grade. They said, though, he was very quiet. He's a very quiet guy, Chris Henry. Everybody says that about him. He's quiet. He's kind of an unassuming kind of guy. Yeah. That's what makes his behavior so puzzling, because he's known as this kind of quiet, gentle guy, and he's also a lunatic at the same time. Yeah. So you're like, when does that part happen?
Right.
What triggers that exactly?
Right.
How do you go from, hey, man, how's it going, to just like, I will shoot every motherfucker in here? Like, those are way different personality
it's
traits.
Bipolar.
It's well, we'll talk about it here. So his coach here, Becknell, said that his classmates barely knew he was on the team. He said that the coach said, quote, he didn't want to stick out. He liked being around other people, but you had to seek him out to get him to talk. So he's just a quiet kid.
Yeah.
And that's, it's just sometimes teenagers are like that. I mean, that's just all there is to it. There's a lot of teenagers.
They don't feel like you can relate to them. Their problems are different.
Yeah. Not only that, a lot of teenagers just don't figure out coming out of their shell socially communication until they're a little bit older. They're just kind of growing into their minds as much as their bodies too. I mean, everybody's mind grows at a different rate.
Boys,
too.
Their voice sucks.
Yeah,
that is a god awful voice.
And when you get a big growth spurt, it's an awkward. Yeah. Trust me, it's awkward. You're happy that you're tall now, but like everybody comments on it, and you just kind of want to blend in for a minute and ever stop having everybody go, look how much fuck you got tall over the summer. Like that's enough already with that shit. So that might be part of it too. I think it's part of the psychology there.
To see if my dick grew too. Is that what you're asking?
Fine, take him down. Take him down to the ground. Let's check it out. Impressive, isn't it? So his coach said, quote, I coached him 3 years. I don't know that he ever had a detention. I never disciplined him once, never had to.
Wow.
So high school, was a model athlete, great kid. He went to Bell Chase or whatever the fuck it is, high school. Chassé high school there. And two other guys who ended up in the NFL went there. A guy named James Wright, who played for Cincinnati also for 2 years, and then Jeremy Vujnovic, who was a tackle for the Cardinals, Colts, and Packers. So Chris, during his senior year, he was named New Orleans Small Schools Offensive Player of the Year.
Small schools,
small high schools, because they have the different divisions, 1 through 5. I know in Arizona, And during that season, the team, the Fighting Cardinals of Bell Chase, made it to the Louisiana AAA State Championship game, and they played it at the Superdome, which must have been very depressing to go in there and play that game and have 600 people watch in a 60,000 seat dome.
Or it would be fucking fantastic.
It'd be amazing.
You would have so much room.
And then it's just for the crowd. But for the players, it'd be weird. Just playing this big empty airplane hangar here. During his senior year, he got an NFL logo tattooed on his hand.
Who was it? The Saints.
No, the logo, an NFL logo.
The actual NFL
the shield.
seal?
The shield,
wow.
He got the NFL
on
logo
his fucking hand.
On his hand to say he wanted to play in the NFL. So that was like...
What the fuck?
I don't know why you would do that.
No.
But he was saying he was going to play in the NFL, damn it. And that's, I guess once you commit it to your skin, you have to
figure it out.
Yeah. Maybe
you better do it.
Trying to force his hand.
Yeesh.
He's also played basketball in high school and was very good at it, and also really good in track too. Because like I said, he's an all-around athlete, and a lot of these guys, the all-around athletes, they play everything. They play track, they play everything, which is good probably. So he's about 6'4", 200 pounds at the end of high school. So he ends up being recruited pretty decently, even though he's from a small school. Chooses to go to West Virginia University up there, which they had a history of some players there.
West Virginia,
yeah.
The Mountaineers.
So the Mountaineers, he plays there. He redshirted his freshman season, as most kids do, unless they're just physically ridiculous. They usually redshirt and gain some weight and shit like that their freshman year. Yeah, because you come out of high school, that's a different the physicality between high school and the NFL is not the same, even close to the same.
It's so far and away.
You have 22-year-olds who are seniors who are fucking full-grown adults with adult bodies
in college,
and you were just playing sophomores in high school. You were just beating up 15-year-olds who don't even have driver's licenses yet. So you need a transitional year most of the time.
You just beat up a kid who had his first beer.
Yeah,
these are men that mainline that shit.
You had a kid who's hoping to maybe get his first hand job later.
Right.
That's who you were beating up. Yeah, and now
he doesn't even care about this game. Now he's trying to fuck afterwards.
Yeah, now you have men who have date raped dozens of sorority girls. That's who you're playing now, so it's way different.
Yeah, hardened criminals, goddammit.
Jesus Christ. God. These are bad people.
Yeah.
No, so rumor has it even during his freshman year while he was redshirted, he had a little bit of trouble. This is kind of when the trouble started. There's a big thing that he was in the food line, in line for food, and got mad at another student and punched him, and was arrested for it. And the police, the campus security came and took him away and handed him over to the cops, and he was arrested for it. And it turns out that the rumor has it that the team kind of had it, hey, he didn't hit you that hard, right? Had the guy drop it and everything be squashed. And, because for a guy on campus, that would be a hard thing to be like pressing charges against a member of the football team.
Especially if he's good.
Yeah, you're going to have a lot of people that don't like you at that point. And Chris is going to be a big star for them. Like, he's kind of the star for them at the time.
You're not going to get invited to many football parties or frat parties.
No.
Or really any parties. If you're pulling that shit.
Yeah, you're going to probably just say, hey, I don't know, that we had a misunderstanding and move on from there.
It probably was one.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It probably was. It's kids. Two 18-year-old boys getting in a fight in a food line is I don't know. I don't know why anyone needs to be arrested there, unless the one said, please don't hit me, and then the other one unmercifully pummeled him. If two grown people agree to fight, unless they break any property or anything, let them fucking fight with each other. Why can't, as a society, we enter into an adult agreement that I want to fight you, you want to fight me. If someone gets hurt, it's on you. You said you wanted to fight, and that's, not his fault.
Right.
Why can't we do that?
As long as there's no murder.
If everybody you can do it if you get a crowd, if you get spectators and pay the guys $10 and you could do it, but why can't you do it anyway? I don't get it. It's just stupid. So
we both are in agreement here. It's just because one gets his ass kicked so hard, he changes his mind and says he didn't want to fight anymore.
Yeah, but I mean, there's always people around during fights. People never, the only time people fight when they're alone is like if they live together or something. Otherwise, people don't fight when they're alone.
That's true.
Because there's no, he slighted me and people saw it. That's why people fight, because they got embarrassed in public and horse shit like that. Yeah. So 2003 in West Virginia, he has a good year here. He earned Big East Conference Freshman of the Year. So that's impressive. That's really good. And all Big East second team honors. He had 41 catches for 1,006 yards and 10 touchdowns.
That sounds good.
As a freshman, that's enormous. And for West Virginia, that's like
41 with 1,000. That's great.
41 with 1,000 yards is great. No, his average, he had 24.5 yards per reception.
Unreal.
Which is the third most in a season in school history, which is pretty good here. Not too shabby.
Third most in history.
In the school's history. He also became the second player in the school history to record over 1,000 receiving yards in one season. All the records there are held by a guy named David Saunders, who went on to play for like 8 Arena League teams.
Ouch.
So, yeah, you can have all the records at your school.
Holy shit.
And you still ain't going to the NFL. He never played in the
Wow.
NFL. Yeah, I looked at he never played in the NFL. It was all Arena League teams.
All these records at West Virginia. How big was he? He's a little guy?
He's a smaller guy. And some of the times back then, he just didn't get a chance. He's not even that old. I think he's 5 years older, 5 years ahead of Chris.
He's in his fucking 40s.
Just doesn't get a chance. Sometimes in the NFL.
He's Uncle Rico.
There's a documentary I was seeing. I think it's LeBron James produced it. And it's the one about, Christ, I can't remember the name of it, which really kind of ruins the whole thing. But it's either way. It's LeBron James produced documentary. You fucking Google. It's the same thing as if I gave you the title.
There's less than 5 of them.
That's what I mean. You'll figure it out when I tell you what it's about. But it's one about about how they don't pay players in college.
All right.
And they talk about how, this school has $110 million athletic facility, and then this kid can't afford Taco Bell. And they asked the kids, like, would you rather have a $110 million athletic facility or be paid minimum wage? And they were all like, I'll fucking work out in the parking lot if you pay me. I don't give a fuck how nice the workout facility is. That does not help me at all.
Just doing push-ups in there anyway.
They don't care. They do like give me the weights in the machine. I mean, it's nice to have, but they're all like, if it's that or pay me, fucking pay me. Fuck this.
$100 million got to buy so much shit.
It's beautiful. These huge, and this is just for like a workout facility. Workout, not even for a stadium or for anything
gym.
like that. That's the gym, and the guys are like, and I don't get paid. Okay, so. But they showed a bunch of guys there, and there's so many little things. Like one guy he ended up getting kicked off the team before he finished his third year in college. He got kicked off the team because one of his teammates' fathers saw that the kid couldn't afford. He was a walk-on, and he couldn't afford to do it anymore. He said he wouldn't eat for 4 days at a time. He slept in his car to play football.
Is he an open micer? What does he think he is?
Basically a walk-on in college football is the open mics of, it's like you going to other cities to do open mics. You're not getting paid.
Right.
You're not doing, it's all on you. So he had to pay for school and figure out how to like live and do all this shit as a walk-on and play football. So he had to, less time to do all this shit. And so he couldn't do it. And he said he was quitting. He's a really good player. So one of his teammates' fathers said, you're not fucking quitting.
No.
What's it going to take for, what is it, $1,200 a month? And you could survive? And he said, well, yeah, probably. He goes, I'll give you $1,200 a month while you're in school. Don't worry about it. So the teammate's father said, I'll just pay. That way you go get yourself a one-bedroom apartment and have food.
And I'll take care of it.
And play football. Yeah. So anyway, that ended up, because the father was also a booster he gave to the school. He wasn't even an alumni, but he had given to the school. They called that an illegal thing.
Unreal.
Kicked the kid off the team before his third year was finished. So then he's not eligible for the NFL draft, because the rule is, because the NFL, the NFL have their fingers up the asses of the NCAA, and they're so intertwined that in order for one to keep the other in business, they say, let's make it a rule that these kids have to do this. The NCAA is a business, by the way. Yeah. It's not a fucking...
No. It's fucking licensed.
That's what I mean. This is not like some... it's not the DMV. It's not... It's a fucking business. It's not the post office. It's not for
it's not government funded.
Profit.
Right.
It's a business. So for one business to say we won't... and one business, by the way, that has antitrust exemptions in fucking Congress, that makes a huge difference. If you're from another country, you won't understand that. But basically, you're not allowed to be monopoly over here. The NFL is a huge monopoly.
Right.
So they get a pass on the antitrust thing for the most part, because the USFL sued them for antitrust and won, but they gave them $1. So that basically said, yeah, you can sue the NFL and win, but no one's going to give you any fucking money.
Nobody cares what you think.
Exactly. Right. Baseball has actual like congressional protection from antitrust laws, which is nuts. That's why you never see an alternate baseball league pop up. And
they have interrogations on fucking Capitol Hill.
Yeah,
that's bananas.
That's the other thing. If you have that,
fucking crazy.
If you have antitrust exemption, then whenever Congress wants to, stick around in your sport, you have to go testify. That's the difference.
That's so crazy though.
Yeah.
That that's what we spend time and money on.
Yeah, it's
investigating a fucking sport,
because that gets people's faces on there on TV. But yeah, so it's ridiculous that you have to play 3 years in this other business before you're allowed to possibly make a living.
Maybe join another business.
In really the only place you can really make a living doing it. They said, well, you can go play Arena League or you can play that. Yeah, you can make $28,000 a year.
Ask Saunders how that worked out for him.
That's what I mean. What's Saunders doing now? Probably not living comfortably from his football career. He's probably working
lives in West Virginia
in an office
or wherever
somewhere.
The fuck home
Yeah,
was.
he's working on a loading dock somewhere is what he's doing. Hopefully he's doing better.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what I'm saying though. It's ridiculous. And this one kid, he was shy of his third year, not eligible for the draft. He had to go play in like Europe or some shit. He was making like $400 a week playing in Germany. And the kid was really good. He was like the star over there. Every team he's on, he was like the star of the team. And they couldn't. The rules precluded it. Oh, boy. So, yeah, it's ridiculous.
And he never made it to...
I don't know about now, but I don't think so. Because, I mean, he had to basically be seen as an undrafted person after that. Then you can sign these people later on, but the process is...
Oh, it's slow rolling, too.
Yeah, they're not seeing you if you're in Germany, really,
It's a tough sell.
It is. So that's what I mean. It's a tough deal, and the NCAA and the NFL are just the worst together. And I love football, but it's a fucking criminal criminal conspiracy, the whole thing.
Well, yeah, just
it's
the
horrible.
fact that when there is a good walk-on on any NFL team, they talk about it their entire fucking career at the beginning of every game. Yeah. This guy's a walk-on. We've been watching this guy for 12 years.
You're still hearing what a low draft pick Tom Brady was.
Yeah.
Still, to this day, you're hearing about that.
Yeah.
Well, he drafted all the way down.
Right.
We get it.
Right.
Yeah, that was a good pick. Terrific. But it's just...
Rod Smith, the wide receiver for the Broncos, perfect example.
There you go. 6th round, 5th round, some shit like that.
I think he was undrafted.
I might have been undrafted.
I think he was an undrafted walk-on free agent. Matter of fact, I know that because they've said it in every fucking game he played.
Yeah, everything forever.
Unreal.
So yeah, it's interesting here. So it's a tough transition, and NFL makes it tough. I saw the NCAA now because everyone on earth tweeted it at me, which I was fine with because it finally fucking happened where they're going to let the kids profit off of their names and likenesses. 700,000.
More times than they said Rod Smith was an undrafted.
More times than there are college athletes. Once for every college athlete affected by it, which is fine. I didn't mind because it was relevant, so that's fine. Now, his best game was a 200-yard, 2-touchdown game against Syracuse, which is they're actually a powerhouse, Syracuse, because compared to West Virginia's a pretty big school though. They're one of those where they have like these streaks of being, good nationally, and then they disappear for a while and they come back again.
But their fan base sticks around. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, no, that's all they have.
They have bars out here in Phoenix, Arizona that are dedicated straight to them.
Let me ask you this, Jimmie. What else do they have in West Virginia besides the Mountaineers and Cole?
Very little.
Yeah, outside of, unless you're going to root for Cole, you have nothing else to think about or talk about.
Well, so. Wild and Wonderful Whites.
That's true.
That.
We can root for them. I think it's like bird watching in West Virginia. Want to go white watching today? All right. You just go around, look for him, take pictures. There he is. Look at him. Look at him all messed up. Look at all them pills they're on. Look, he just fell down. To me, you get pictures of that? Yeah, hey, Jolene, you got pictures of it falling down? The kids don't want to see it.
Hurry up. We got to get to the Mountaineers training.
It's a Mountaineer practice facility today. Jesus Christ.
They're over there in that weight room.
It's so funny, too. Yeah, I love these places. A lot of places are like this where the fan base loves this college so much, and 97% of the fan base did not go to that college at all. No. That's what I don't get. Like, I get loving a college you went to, but if you didn't go to that college, it's just your local college. I don't get what the draw would be to it.
And sometimes even when you went there, I don't understand why you still give a shit.
That's the other thing I don't get is why do you care?
38.
Yeah.
Stop it.
How good of an experience did you have there? And you know what? Whatever, the last 20 years should have trumped it.
Yeah.
It should have just overtaken whatever you had, and you should go, oh, did I go? Yeah, I did.
You're 46 with a career.
Yeah.
Stop it.
Let's hope. Well, that's the problem. Your career wasn't as good as
you thought,
as your college years were. Which is sad.
So go Gamecocks.
Yeah. Or Mountaineers in this case. So, 2003, the Mountaineers, they were coached by Rich Rodriguez, who went on to be a failure, I believe, in the NFL, and then Michigan. He did a bad job at Michigan and got shit canned.
I'm thinking of a different Rich.
Yeah.
Who am I thinking of?
Rich Kotite, the old Jets coach.
No, the one for the Panthers. What was that guy? Was it like coach? Ortega or some shit like that?
Ron Rivera, you're thinking of. Ron Rivera.
I was right there.
Yeah,
I was killing it.
That's fine. Rich, Ron, same shit. So the Mountaineers are 8-5 that year. They, like I said, Chris does great, 24.5 yards per catch, which is outstanding. Yeah. They go all the way to the Gator Bowl facing Maryland, and they get the living shit beaten out of them, 41-7 in the Gator Bowl. But they were there.
Yeah.
So good for them. Good
Maryland's
for you guys.
Consistent, pretty decent.
Yeah, sometimes in basketball.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. Football, they're less consistent.
Okay.
Yeah. Basketball,
I constantly hear them mentioned. On ESPN.
Basketball, they're always in the tournament. They're always kind of going far.
Whenever they're covering college and I'm tuning out.
I think they won a national championship in the early 2000s.
I could see
possibly
that.
Somewhere around there. 2004, West Virginia goes 8-4 under Rich Rodriguez again. They go all the way to the Gator Bowl again, damn it, where they play Florida State and lose again, 30-18 in the Gator Bowl. Now, this is where he has some issues this year. This year, though, I mean, his numbers are great. He plays in 11 games, has 52 receptions, 872 yards, 12 touchdowns. That's all tremendous. Good for you, Chris. But the problem is he has multiple things happen, and that gets him kind of kicked off the team for better or worse here.
Oh?
He's ejected from a game at Rutgers due to multiple unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, and it was for celebrations.
Okay.
He got flagged on a celebration in the end zone, and then it was a long pass, and he celebrated for that and got flagged for it. And 2 of those, and they toss you. So that's it. So he didn't do anything terrible. He was happy twice, so he got ejected from the fucking game.
He wasn't Odell Beckham getting furious.
Right. That's God forbid you show joy in college or the NFL or anything. Are they by the way, did they change the rule? I must have missed it this year in the NFL about the team, about like the group celebrations in the end zone.
That's the only one that's permitted, right?
Okay, yeah, because they used to, before this, it was you can only have one person celebrating. They can celebrate.
I think it's now only everybody can.
Okay, remember everybody would have to stand back and wait for them. Don't go near him. He's dancing. Hey guys, hey, stay fuck back. He's dancing. They acted like he was wired with like somebody in ISIS with just dynamite all around him with a big fucking clock on the front of it.
He's doing the detonator
dance.
God,
he's doing it. Stay, everybody back. Oh, Jesus Christ. You'd see a guy go too close. Some guy would call, oh, Jesus Christ, we're going to get flagged. Go near him while he's dancing. That's how ticky-tack and ridiculous it was. Don't go near a man while he dances.
That's the problem
a penalty.
with when you start when you start penalizing and start what's the word I'm looking for? Just watching over it and fucking
nitpicking.
Yeah, being a bitch about it. Why are you being such a bitch?
Rules.
Now we don't understand the fucking rule. Is it everybody has to dance or nobody can dance? If one guy starts dancing, does everybody now have to dance? What about that one guy that can't dance at all?
I think now you need to involve everybody. It's like now you have to have a whole chorus line because you don't want to leave anybody out. No, maybe that's it.
Now your coach has to be involved. Somebody's got to get the equipment manager. Where the fuck is Jerry Jones?
The defensive coordinator's 78 years old. He's got bad knees. He played in the 50s. He's like, Christ, I gotta get out. I'm fucking coming. Hold on.
Do the cartwheel, Walt.
But I think you're allowed to. Now you're allowed to because now I see, and they're fucking fun.
They're great. Yeah.
You know what they do after a touchdown?
Yeah.
Nothing. No. One team comes off the field. One team comes on the field. The refs jerk each other off. They reset the There's like 2 fucking minutes of literally bullshit where they just used to go to a commercial because there's nothing to do.
Where we have to watch the new Subaru Outback.
Who cares?
Right.
I don't care what the latest lesbian mobile is. Right. I want to know what the fuck. If 17 men have planned a choreographed dance together, because I find that fascinating.
I want to know what's in T.O.'s sock and what is he signing with it.
I find it fascinating because this is what I always think. I guarantee you they didn't work that out in practice.
No,
like their coach would be like, shut that fucking dancing shit out. We're going to run the... Coaches are not going to let them dance.
Get over here for the YZX play.
Not doing it. Yeah, your coach is not going to allow you to practice your choreography during team time. So that means that after they're done, whether it's at the facility, like, hey, man,
exhausted.
we're going to all stay an extra hour tonight. They got girlfriends. They got shit going on.
Call your girl. We're staying with Stinky Dicks, and we're figuring this out.
Or during training camp, like at night when they're all in they're rather than like play video games or do what they do, they were like, yo, man, let's write a dance. And then
they're doing it in like the 11th hour, like Saturday Night Live.
A group of young men in their 20s who are on performance-enhancing drugs and fucking work out like maniacs
with brain damage,
are just pussy hounds going out there. They're like, no, God damn it, Jesus Christ, it's
CJ.
Ball, switch, fucking spin.
Your other left.
Jesus, spin, no, not after the hitch. What the fuck, man? Back to 1. Let's go. We'll be here all night until you get it right.
We'll be here till the coin flip.
What the fuck is happening? Because this shit is really organized where you're like, that is so planned. Well, how the fuck? So I find it fascinating though. So, anyway, good year for him, but these unsportsmanlike, conduct penalties get him suspended for the season finale against the University of Pittsburgh.
That's crazy.
Which is ridiculous for celebrating twice. The coach, Rich Rodriguez here, because he's basically done.
Yeah.
And Chris says he's going to go try for the NFL and everything else. He says that Chris is, quote, an embarrassment to himself and the program.
What? How dare you, sir?
Dude.
What?
Come on, man.
Because he was jacked, he caught a ball?
Listen to me. Chris Henry did a lot of shit that's embarrassing for both himself and lots of programs he's involved with. That is not, can't be put aside.
Is that foreshadowing?
That's not it, though. That's not the thing that did it. I don't think that's the one where they could have just went, oh, come on. The kid is fucking happy. Ridiculous.
He's an embarrassment.
Yeah. Exactly.
You don't amount to shit.
He's an embarrassment.
Dancing like that when he's happy.
And then they play the bowl game, and he's got to play in the bowl game after his coach just told him that he's an embarrassment. And he caught 3 passes in it. And then after the game, he announced he's going to enter the draft because he has nowhere else to go there. He's the 3rd player in West Virginia history to average more than 20 yards per catch in his career. And his 1,878 career receiving yards is 8th most in school history, which is not too shabby here. And 22 touchdown receptions are 2nd most in school history.
And he played 2 seasons
for him.
Wow.
So, I mean, if he played a 3rd season, he would have shattered all the records and owned everything. So, 2005 NFL draft, and we've gone over this a few times. This was the Aaron Rodgers sinking and that whole sad state of affairs.
Still talk about that, too.
One of the saddest things.
Yeah.
Well, it's still one of the saddest things I've ever seen in sports, to watch a man go from I'm
top
great.
5 to
everything.
I'm a piece of shit.
My life is wonderful to nobody wants me. It would be like if he showed up at the prom, like thinking he was hot shit, and somehow on the ride to the prom, the largest pimple in the world formed right in the center of his nose. And then once he got there, he was like, oh, and he just went and sat in a corner and was sad about it, and nobody wanted to dance with him. That's the story of Aaron Rodgers. Nobody wanted to dance with him.
The girl that wanted to dance with him, who said, meet me there, danced with Tom Brady.
Well, yeah, and then he ended up with the Green Bay Packers, which I would assume would be the equivalent of like a high school girl that you never liked because you thought she was a little chunky for you, and now you're like, okay, fine.
Or somebody brought their best cow from the state fair and gave it to him to dance with. Who went first in this?
That was Alex Smith.
Okay,
whose leg is in like 46 pieces.
Holy shit! Yeah, that's an embarrassment.
Turned out to be a good quarterback.
That's the embarrassment.
Well, it turned out to be a good quarterback. Christ, before he got hurt, he was one of the top guys in the league.
But you could have had Aaron Rodgers.
You could have had Aaron Rodgers,
that's
obviously.
The embarrassment.
Yeah, that's pretty sad. San Francisco, but they wanted him. Yeah. And Ronnie Brown, Braylon Edwards, Cedric Benson, Cadillac. Fucking running backs, man. Yeah. 4 out of the first 5 picks or 3 out of the first 5 are running backs.
That's what the league was then, though.
You
it was
don't
so
see
much
that
running
at all. Yeah, no. But now it's still a lot of running, but they just go, you can draft a guy in like the 3rd round. They don't give a shit about running. It's all scheme now, they think. So
well, it's now
weird.
Looking for the best receiver and making the fucking wild catches.
And DBs and left tackles.
Right.
That offensive
it's not running
line.
Backs.
Well, now it's if you have a quarterback that's worth half a shit, you need to protect the shit out of him because otherwise he's what good is he at that point? Everyone's hurt so much.
I've missed so much NFL this year. I don't even know who the best running back in the league is anymore.
Jesus Christ.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and that's true. There's no set guy.
Right. There's nobody to keep an eye on.
No, there's no like Adrian Peterson was the best or something like that.
And then he goes and beats kids.
And then he beats kids and he's still pretty good at running.
He's still decent,
damn it, he's beating kids.
But he's running all over the league and playing for every goddamn team in it.
Yeah, well, at the end of his career, that's what running backs do.
So sad.
It is. So, the second round here, different J.J. Arrington guys like that. Okay. Darren Williams, who's dead. Yeah. Denver. Remember?
Oh, yeah, that's
Denver
right.
Defensive back who
died.
He
killed himself.
Yeah, he did. And Frank Gore in the 3rd round. That's a great pick. San Francisco made up for that Alex Smith pick by picking Frank Gore in the 3rd round, who I believe he'll play till he's 6. Is he still playing? He's still playing now.
Still plays
I couldn't
today.
remember if he decided to retire finally. That's incredible.
I saw a game.
Running backs don't do that.
I know.
Aaron Rodgers is around.
There's 14 years as a running back.
Aaron Rodgers is around. That's fine. He goes back there and, does like commercials for State Farm and combs his hair. This guy's getting the shit pounded out of him,
every goddamn day.
And he just keeps going.
I saw a game. I forget the team that he's on now. It's not a team that you would even guess.
Yeah.
And a guy trollops by, takes his helmet off. I'm like, that motherfucker looks just like Frank Gore. And then they go, Frank Gore in his 14th season. I'm like, you have to be shitting me.
His hair's white.
No, he's got no hair. It's all shaved down. It's
shaved
a bald
off.
head.
Yeah,
poor bastard.
He's just, he's been around forever. They've beat the hair off of him at this point.
It just doesn't even grow.
It's not even baldness.
No.
It's just so many hits.
Just hair follicles died.
It jumped right out of his head. Abandoned ship. That's how it works here.
Poor bastard.
Finally, third round, Justin Tuck. Nuck, which is another good pick. The Giants defensive end who's had a goddamn good career, really good career. So some decent guys in the third round even available this year. Richie Incognito for an asshole. Yeah. And third round pick 83 overall, Cincinnati picks Chris Henry here. Picks him up out of West Virginia, like we talked about. Overall? 83rd overall. Okay, in the third round. Yeah. So 2005 he goes to Cincinnati. That is the Carson Palmer Cincinnati Bengals of the mid 2000s. Boy. Where they were good for a flash. Yeah. And then you were
like, oh my God, are they going to start to be?
Yeah, no, I don't think so.
TJ Houshmandzadeh leaves and they suck.
Well, yeah, this is the TJ Houshmandzadeh. Right. We had Chad Johnson, Pre-Ocho Cinco.
Right.
So, I mean, he's coming into, it's a good spot for a new receiver to come into because Houshmandzadeh and Chad Johnson, there's your 1-2.
God, that's a great three.
And then your third guy is a dangerous, that's why they got him.
Wow.
They had nothing to lose. Yeah. He fell to the third round.
That's why they were so good for so long. They were like,
shit, well, he's a big guy, deep threat. It's a great change to those other two guys. Houshmandzadeh is kind of a stockier guy. Johnson's a really good fast possession guy, everything else. And then you got this guy who's a lanky,
great slot receiver.
That's what I mean. So not too shabby of an idea. That was John Kitna as the backup there.
Eesh, Jesus. God damn it. I wonder who's their tight end. That's a great fucking offense.
No, it's not bad at all.
And their running back was good, too. Who was their running back?
Matt Schobel's the tight end. That was the year they had Rudy Johnson be their main running back.
Oh, Jesus.
That was the post-Corey Dillon.
Oh, that's not bad.
No, Rudy Johnson was good.
Johnson's good.
Post-Corey Dillon years. That year, Rudy Johnson had 1,458 yards and 12 touchdowns.
Jesus Christ, how did they lose?
He was crushing it. Averaged 4.3 a carry.
Their defense must have ate dicks.
Not too bad at all. Well, they had a good year. They were 11-5 that year. Yeah. So, I mean, that was playing in the, tough division, too. Right. But they were 11-5 that year, and they go to the wild card game against the Steelers, and that was those years where those were just pick'ems basically. Any of those playoff games, it didn't matter who was 11-5 or 13-3, or once they got in the playoffs, the Steelers and the Bengals and all these teams would knock each other off every year. So they lose 31-17 to the Bengals in the to the Steelers. Right. They lose to themselves. in the
Bengals
playoffs.
Put up 31 points on the Bengals.
It was pretty impressive. That's how bad they are. Now, Chris Henry played in 15 games, played in 14 games, started 5, which isn't too shabby. 31 receptions for 422 yards and 6 touchdowns. Yeah. Not a bad rookie year at all. As a third, because you're definitely not going to break into the top 2.
Fuck no.
With those guys. He does make the all-rookie team, though.
How about that?
All-rookie team along with Kyle Orton. Remember Kyle Orton?
God, he's terrible.
Goofiest looking quarterback. He played for the Broncos for a while, so you must have hated him.
He's a fucking nightmare.
I remember when he was on the fucking Bears.
They called him neckbeard.
Well, because he had a big neckbeard. And
only on his neck.
Only on his neck.
It's crazy. His face didn't grow hair.
He was a goofy looking guy, too, and just a terrible arm on him. He had a noodle on him. I looked at him and I go, how did anyone pick him in the NFL?
You got a guy going deep. He's like 40 yards out in stride.
Noodle.
And he will throw it 30 yards deep and just drop 20 yards in front of him. Why did you do that, Kyle?
These weak passes over the middle. Just didn't have enough zip on
James, his name was Kyle. Why are we surprised?
It just annoyed me to watch him. So anyway, Kyle Orton was on that team. Cadillac Williams, Ronnie Brown, and Mark Clayton. A lot of good players that are turned out to be kind of big shots. Sean Merriman was on the all-rookie team.
I loved that guy.
Well, he was nasty.
And I loved him and I hated him. He was great at his position, but he played for the Chargers. I've got to hate him.
Division guy. Right. So all-rookie team, NFL, fulfilled his tattoo. Grace.
It would make it real difficult to have that tattoo and be handing back change to somebody at the drive-thru. What happened there, sir?
These fries aren't crispy enough? Let me take those from you. Oh, no, the NFL. Yeah, I really like football.
I'm a big fan.
Big fan.
Obviously.
That'd be bad shit, yeah, because I ain't playing.
It was on the top of his hand?
I believe so,
I was hoping to be like on the palm.
You don't see a lot of palm tattoos.
There's very few.
That's weird. How come you don't see palm tattoos?
Jesse James, the guy from West Coast Choppers, used to have one that said "Pay Up, Sucker" with like a dollar sign on his palm of his hand. Some people do it, but it's not very common.
I never see it.
Really?
You see I've seen it, but you see sleeves
all the time.
Fucking up your neck.
Yeah.
But palm of the hand,
your fucking ear.
Clear as can be. It's just weird. You're missing a spot, stupid.
Just dip your hand in ink and
who gives a fuck
drag
at this
a needle
point?
Over it.
Yeah, who cares? Fucking write something on there. Just your address, grocery list. Wouldn't it be hilarious if you just saw milk, eggs, just somebody has like a tattoo of like a scribbled grocery list on their head? That'd be the greatest tattoo.
I'm not afraid.
That'd be the best tattoo in the world. Like Netflix password, like shit like that, like that.
The Wi-Fi password.
That would be amazing. Just something. It doesn't even have to be real. Just
how great would Wi-Fi password and then just some dumb password like skunk with like a $sign for the S. You know what I mean? Something stupid.
Yeah.
And then just when I'm 80, the Wi-Fi doesn't exist anymore.
Doesn't exist. Yeah. It's all on brainwaves.
I've got a bullshit Wi-Fi tattoo.
Well, good. You can explain it to your great grandchildren.
It's a conversation.
Let me tell you about Netflix, sonny. Like what? Feel like your grandfather saying, "Let me tell you about the Encyclopedia Britannica."
Right?
Huh?
I bought it from a man at the
TV,
door.
You old fart.
A man came to my door and I bought it.
I don't have to wait for a guy to come over and offer them to me. I just can just turn it on.
He unloaded them from an Oldsmobile's trunk.
Can you imagine, by the way, I thought about that. People used to sell encyclopedias door to door.
That's crazy.
Can you imagine when they actually got a sale? How exciting that must have been. Seriously? Imagine, like, wait a second.
What, are you fucking kidding me?
You had no interest in this. You didn't wake up this morning going, I really want to know about aardvarks. If only there was a place I could look it up. You didn't think that at all.
Right.
But I knocked on your door, and just due to the force of my sales technique, I got you to buy a shitload of books you don't want. How the fuck did I do that?
For an unreal amount of money.
Wow. They must have been like running. Oh, I'll be right back. Running to the trunk to get them. Like, holy Jesus.
You know how many trips I'm going to have to take to my trunk?
Wow. Then they'd go home. I made a sale today. No, I did.
The car got great gas mileage coming home.
Tremendous. I quit right then. High watermark.
We are $12 million richer now because I sold one set of
one set. So December 15th, 2005. This is after his rookie season here. Like I said, makes the all-rookie team, has a good year. This is right at the end of the year, pre-playoffs. This is a stretch run. The Bengals are fighting for playoff spots, and he gets pulled over in Covington, Kentucky, which is where the airport is. That's to go to Cincinnati. Right. It's right across the river. It's all woodsy, and then you cross the river and you smell the sulfur of Cincinnati.
There it is. Welcome home.
Welcome home, everybody. So he is pulled over for speeding, and also ends up the officer catches a whiff of something and ends up getting arrested for possession of marijuana.
Of course.
Which I'm not going to break his balls for that because who cares?
I do know that the Bengals players really like weed.
Yeah, you know what? All the players really like weed. You know why?
Because it's great.
Because weed's good. Right. That's why they like it. Because everyone else likes it too for that reason. And especially if you get banged around all the time, it eases it up a little bit. You know,
I just found out I play for the Bengals.
Yeah,
and so do you.
I need to smoke weed here. I rolled a fatty. So we're going to need this. It's fucking true, though. Listen to, like, nowadays, Ricky Williams speaks out about it and says, well, by the end of my career, it was either smoke weed or do a shitload of pills.
That's a man that
one of the two.
Chose weed over football. That's incredible.
And then came back and he was just...
was like, no, I made the right move. I'm leaving.
No, he came back, played more, and said it was either... Once he finally retired, he said that by the end, it was either weed or pills. I had to do one of the two. Right. And I wasn't going to do any pills. I didn't want to do pills, so I chose weed for myself, and good for him. So, he's arrested for that. He ends up pleading guilty to this and getting a $250 fine and a month of, like, outpatient drug rehab shit, which is ridiculous. It's Jesus Christ.
Rehab for weed.
Yeah, go in there. I smoked weed. Oh, didn't you feel...
Jesus,
what
man.
are we going to talk about?
How great was it?
Can
you just describe it?
What are we going to talk about? Yeah. Was it recently?
Can we?
Yeah.
We're
Do your clothes still smell like it? Can I smell?
It's still in your hair.
Yeah, January 28th, 2006. This is a month later. This is right after the playoff loss. It's like, 2 weeks later. Yeah. So it's still, the Bengals are still stinging in people's minds here.
Yeah.
He's outside of a club in Orlando, Florida, which is right away a bad, outside of a club / Orlando, Florida. Those two things together, individually bad, together not great.
Not good at all.
No, as we've been to Orlando, and it's, boy, it is interesting down there. That's a place where you're like, people live here, huh? Okay.
Is that right?
Really? No. People just come and go to Disneyland and go home, right? The people who work at Disney World live at Disney World, I feel like. Because
they live somewhere else, right?
No, they actually drive into there every day. Wow, okay. So he is What an idiot. Chris Henry, at this point, he gets in an argument with a group of people outside. There's, groups of people hanging out.
Sure.
He gets in an argument with a group of people and pulls a 9mm pistol.
Oh, my God.
And
what?
raises it up and aims it at the crowd, okay? There is a police officer directing traffic nearby who sees this.
Right.
And clearly intervenes, because that's what cops do when people have guns pointed at crowds.
But in Florida, they usually pull it out and go, I got one too, high five.
Well, no, because Henry's a 22-year-old black guy, so they usually empty their clip into him.
Yeah.
But instead, this cop yells at Henry to freeze. By the way, Henry is just standing outside of his limo that he's in. So the cop, I don't know, it's a weird thing. I think the limo might have saved his life. Like, I don't know, I'm going to shoot him. He's in a limo.
He might be famous.
He might be important.
Is
I'm
that
not sure.
Jay-Z?
I'm not. I ain't positive, but is that The Rock? Maybe, I don't know. Somebody.
Awfully tall.
He's awfully tall, and he's, put it this way, he's a little darker than my grandma, if you know what I mean. So
pulls his gun and goes, "Who do you play for?
Who do you play for, boy? Don't you call me boy." And he turns the gun, and then we have a shootout in the streets. That's what's going to happen. He goes, "I call everybody boy. I'm from the South." It's a bad thing. Doesn't work out well. So now he pulls out this 9mm on people. So this cop turns and pulls his gun on Chris Henry and says, "Drop your fucking gun, moron."
Right.
I'm a police officer.
I'm allowed to carry this more than you are.
I'm going to shoot you.
Right.
So what he does is he freezes Chris and then makes a move toward the limo and throws the gun inside the back seat of the limo.
Oh, God.
I don't know why he thought that was a good idea.
Yeah.
And then tries to get near the limo. The cop runs over, yanks Chris away from the limo, pulls him away, and throws him on the ground, and, trying to escape after pointing a gun at people. You got to get an investigation going and see what's happening here.
He's going to be lucky if that doesn't constitute assault with a deadly weapon on however many people are there.
Well, that's the thing, and they find a the gun's loaded 9mm Luger on the back seat, as what they said. Also, let's add one more thing. The Pasco County Sheriff's Office has the gun listed as stolen as well.
Oh, you fucking asshole.
So he's going to point a stolen gun at a group of people that he's upset with. He's arrested for, this is interesting here, carrying a concealed firearm, improper exhibition of a firearm. Okay. Which one is it?
Yeah.
You want him to have it out or away? Which fucking one?
There's a protocol to proper exhibition.
You can't have it too far in and you can't have it too far out. You know what I'm saying? Away or not?
Right.
Fucking pick one. So improper exhibition, carrying concealed firearm, and aggravated assault with a deadly weapon.
Yeah.
These are felonies.
Fuck yeah, they
all of them, all three, which is not terrific, I would say, for a young man who's trying to start his career in a fame-based environment. Not wonderful. He has to post $3,000 bail and is released, and he'll have more
day in court later.
More to do with that later. Now, a friend of his says that the trouble with him really started in 2006 when he moved 11 of his relatives to his house.
No.
After Hurricane Katrina.
Oh, God, Jesus.
Hurricane
you can't do
Katrina.
that.
No. I mean, hey, you know what? His family was apparently their homes were wiped out.
But 11 people, it's cheaper to build one fucking house in 11
people in your house.
That's crazy.
There's gonna be, and he's a third round draft pick. Yeah. He's making $400,000 a year. He doesn't have $20 million. This guy. So for him to have 11 people living in his house, that's actually gonna, that's
gonna change your life.
It's generous of him. We'll put it that way.
And it's gonna devalue your property because that many people shitting in a toilet.
Yeah, they're gonna destroy. You can't have 12 people living in a house. They're gonna destroy your house.
You just aged your house 5 years in a year.
Absolutely. So, wow. Okay, good. I'm glad that's what you meant.
Yeah.
I thought you were having a real.
No. I just mean it's
gonna devalue your house. All those black people there. I mean, Jesus Christ. 11 of them. One's one thing, but Christ, 12. The whole fucking neighborhood's going downhill now. That's why I stopped and I'm like, where is he going with this? And you're like, I'm like, yes. 12 people of any race will destroy a house.
There you go.
That's what I mean.
It breaks down the lifespan of that thing.
You're breaking down my porcelain, Aunt Mary. Jesus Christ.
That's too many cheeks.
Every time you shit, it looks like it was dropped out of a plane. There's impact marks. How does this happen? Where are you? How high up are you sitting?
Unreal.
So after Hurricane Katrina, though, that's, I mean, that's generous to say. He's living kind of a nice life away from there in northern Kentucky. He's famous, all this shit, and he's going to move 11 relatives into his house.
Right.
That's a lot.
It is.
That's a lot. So, but he does it, and they said though that the change in him was pretty dramatic and drastic from when he was in college to NFL. Like in his personality, the way he treated his family.
Sure.
Is a different thing.
He's a grown-up now, and they were guiding him to be a mature adult. Now he doesn't have to listen to them, but they're still going to want to tell him what to do.
That's the thing. Well, not only that, he turned into a different guy. Like Arthur, his uncle here, said, quote, everybody knew everybody. When he got up there, the whole scenario changed. They said that it seemed like one of those things where he was famous, he had money now for the first time, and also in the NFL. Thing is, in the off season, you have a lot of free time.
Oh, they go crazy. In the
a lot of free. I mean, and now they basically make it so there's the Super Bowl, the Pro Bowl, then 2 weeks later, voluntary mini camps, and it's fucking starting again. Right. Whereas even 10, 15 years ago, they didn't do that. Right. Now it's like they can't do contact drills. So now it's basically you just have to show up and work there and live at the complex 24 hours a day, 365.
Keep yourself in shape for the next 4 months.
Yeah, well, I'll keep an eye on you.
Right.
Yeah, because there's too much free time, and this is what happens here. Arthur said that Chris stopped calling him once he got to Cincinnati. Said so his whole life he was,
you live in my house, motherfucker.
Well, not now. Arthur was still down there, but Arthur said that it was raised him practically and all this shit, and they were always so close.
Once Chris moved up there,
Chris moved up to Cincinnati, so he stopped calling.
Well, he's busy.
He said on the rare occasions that Chris would come home, he said that he wouldn't even. His uncle said, "I never even knew about it till after he was gone." And he said, "quote He didn't want to disappoint me, and he knew I'd blast him." Yeah. So basically, he didn't want to get yelled at for not calling, which I get.
Yeah, I get it.
And he said, when I talked to him later, I'd say, "Man, you wasn't raised that way." So you're raised to treat your family like better than this shit. So at this point too, he starts kind of getting in with the wrong crowd a little bit, Chris. Yeah. And his college coach. Now this is the thing we say: don't move home. Yeah. Also, don't bring everyone from home to where you are.
Right. Don't move home
Either
to where
of those.
You are.
Just stay away from home.
Right.
So
keep your distance. Make phone calls.
Hey, all you want.
Call them.
Run up that phone bill.
Holler.
It's cheaper than having 11 people in your house.
It's built into your phone bill nowadays.
Beautiful. Wow, it's great. Even 2006ish, it was starting to get long distance. Was it was all built in. Yeah, but you had like sprint to sprint, Verizon to Verizon.
Oh, God,
you could talk forever.
Jesus.
That's it. So his high school coach said, "quote Pick your friends wisely and be careful what you do with your free time." Everybody at school loved him. I saw him at his best. I feel fortunate in that regard. Now, his one of his coaches here, I think he was a receivers coach, Bill Stewart. He said, "quote I would tell you that Chris was never a bad influence or a problem in our locker room. He was a fun-loving kid. He was more shy. I never saw that side of him. I never heard of him being out downtown. These kids get money. They get this entourage. They lose their identity. Did he make mistakes once he got into the limelight? Yes, and he was embarrassed. He brought some trouble on himself." Yeah. So that's kind of what he's like. He obviously changed when he got out of college because that happens. Yeah. I don't know. It's a matter of independence too. In college, they're so up your ass with everything, and I feel like these kids are watched over so hard, coaches and everything else, and from the time they're kids and high school and through college, and I feel like once they get into the NFL and once they get that first place of their own that's like with their own money and shit like that, they gotta feel like I am important now. It has to be.
Well, there's also
you're 22,
right? But there's also the element of your teammates and everybody around you is warning you that now everybody wants in your pockets.
Yeah,
so I'll bet there's a huge contingency of players in the NFL that are just fucking paranoid. Every day, all day.
When you get in the league, the first thing they do is they sit you down and they tell you horror stories.
Oh, they bring you people that have done terrible things with their money.
With their money, and people
and they warn you.
And they bring in women who say, I used to just go around trying to get NFL players to get me pregnant and shit like that. Like
they bring chicks in that are like, would you fuck me? Would you? And all of the guys are
I know this. Yeah.
And then they go, well, just so you all know, I am HIV positive.
Yeah.
And that's supposed to make them go, what the fuck?
Yeah. That's the whole thing.
Wake you up, but it doesn't.
They sit them down for like a week and tell them, not to do this with their money, to watch out for all these people, which, I mean, that's what everybody's been telling you forever, but it doesn't matter, because if you're 22 and everyone's telling you that you're good and they gave you a bunch of money, you think, I must know better.
Right.
Because you're 22.
And at 22,
I couldn't have handled that at 22.
So dumb. You just go, this is going to happen every day forever.
Forever, because I'm so good.
I'm amazing. They've been telling me.
And your body feels great because it hasn't been fucked up yet. So you feel terrific. You feel strong. You feel young. It's rough. So now he goes to court here in January for the January gun incident here. He pleads guilty to concealed weapons charges. That's the deal that they make with him. He does 100 hours of community service and 2 years of probation.
Yeah.
So that probation is going to be important, because that means he can't be getting arrested all the time.
You're in the system, babe.
And oh boy, does he keep getting arrested.
Oh, no.
He likes to get arrested, old Chris. Chris is, it's almost like he's like a police aficionado, where he's like, I don't know what are the cops like in this town? Let me do something and find out.
What do they carry around here? I want to compare.
What do they drive here? They just drive the standard, the Crown Vic, or do they have like Mustangs and shit here? What are they doing?
See if he likes my Glock.
Yeah, he might. It's a Luger, actually, but okay. So June 3rd, 2006 is another issue with the police. An Ohio patrol officer stops him for speeding on Interstate 275 in Union Township, and trooper smells some alcohol on Henry and his car, and he failed some field sobriety tests, Henry does, and then Chris is taken to the police department, where he blows an .092, which is not super drunk, but above the legal limit of .08, and just dumb at this point for him.
I'll give him a pass on judging him, but
I'm not going to judge him for that, because he might have had a couple beers and thought he felt fine. But
in 2005, six,
you could take your head out of your ass, take a car home. The NFL, this is at the time they already had this is what time they already had the service where any player can call anytime, no questions asked, and get a fucking ride.
You get home free
from anywhere for free.
Shut the fuck up.
So don't get DUI.
Pay your tab and get the fuck off the road.
That's it, man. Do that. Take a cab. Do anything you want to do there. But this is just stupid. See what I mean? This is just stupid. The first time it was, here's the thing. I don't fault you for having weed in the car. Don't speed when you have weed in the car.
Yeah.
That's the smart thing to do.
That's the thing.
Fucking 10 and 2 and obey traffic laws when you got weed in the car. If you know you're in Kentucky, which is not the most fun weed state.
Not very friendly with it.
Not friendly with it here. And also, if you know you've had a few, maybe just err on the side of, fuck it, I'll spend $30 on a cab tonight. Back then, this is pre-Uber, so whatever. So he ends up having to plead guilty to reckless operation of a vehicle and gets a $250 fine and a 30-day suspended sentence. Now, I don't know how that suspended sentence, I thought he's on probation, so doesn't that trigger I don't understand how he keeps...
If it's suspended, then it probably does not trigger it because it's being suspended, right?
Yeah, because that's a criminal thing. That's not... It
should be.
Traffic court. It's criminal DUI, so I don't understand.
Well, that one might not be a criminal one because it's low and it's 2006.
Yeah, I don't know.
And
it's Kentucky.
And it's Kentucky. Who knows what their fucking DUI rules are? They're probably like, boy, would you get home and have another pop?
Jesus Christ.
Off my goddamn roads.
Cups of coffee.
It's your pussy .9.
Jesus, that's all you've been drinking, boy?
How many Bartles and James did that take?
Listen here, little missy. I want to tell you to just fluff on up with your pink dress and sashay yourself on home. Put your parasol up because it's sunny.
I want you to pour the rest of your Zima out and get your ass off my road.
Yeah, there's the only you have to have a certain blood alcohol content to drive a tractor in the street in Kentucky.
That's why you got a ticket. It was too low.
That was too low. Yeah,
0.12 is required.
I'm not seeing any open containers in here. Where is your drink?
Get off my road before you sober up.
Come on now. At least just keep a bottle of like some Old Crow maybe in the trunk in case of emergency.
Some cough syrup.
Take a couple of slugs off it just so you know, just so we know that you're paying attention and you're trying. You know what I mean?
Some Sprite and NyQuil in there, would you?
Good. It's the best. So that was June 3rd. 2006. He's arrested for this DUI. Now, June 14th, 2006, he's arrested again.
Oh, bye.
This is for something that happened in May, though. This is they're finally catching up to him now. Okay, let's start out at the Courtyard Marriott in Covington, Kentucky.
Of course.
Where all good things happen to professional athletes.
Oh, no, I didn't stay there. Never mind.
No, you didn't.
I was trying to remember where I stayed there.
You were in Ohio.
Right.
You weren't in Kentucky.
Right.
But you stayed at somebody's place.
Right, somebody gave me an apartment to borrow. That was nice.
Yeah, that was nice.
That was great.
Courtyard Marriott, Covington, Kentucky. Now someone has footage of you doing weird things, I'm sure.
In their apartment. Sorry.
So, no, that's why they wanted you there, so they could get that footage. So, this is not great here. Now, it occurred on April 29th, this happened. Covington police were called to the hotel where a young lady, an 18-year-old woman named Monica Beeman, and remember that name because she's going to come up a couple more times.
Yeah.
She is in the room with him, as well as an unnamed 16-year-old and a 15-year-old girl are in the hotel room with him. Okay. Now, right away, whatever's happening, not okay.
It shouldn't be happening.
If I'm 23, I walk into a hotel room and there's teenagers in there. Peace out. I'm the fuck out of here.
If I play in the fucking NFL.
Especially. But I mean, even just me regular, I'd have been like, that girl's a sophomore.
Right.
Later, bitches. I'm out of here. This is fucking ridiculous.
I don't think there needs to be a qualifying especially. You're right.
Yeah, you have. What period is your lunch? If there's an answer to that question, that I'm out. If there's an answer to the question of what period
Who's the worst teacher on your high school campus?
Exactly. Who's a real bitch in one of your classes? I don't want to know about it. So, they basically, there's no question that he apparently provided them with alcohol.
Yeah,
he bought alcohol for a bunch of chicks, and he rented this room. This room's under his name.
Oh boy.
Here, the problem is that Beeman also tells investigators that Chris Henry had raped her as well.
Oh, what?
The 18-year-old. I guess it's better than the 15-year-old saying it. I don't know, but it's still not good. Now, this is why this took a long time to investigate and to charge him with, because after she had some inconsistencies in her story, and they kept following up, and finally she admits that there was no rape,
bitch.
They had consensual sex for money.
Okay.
So
there's
no rape. This was like an arranged thing where, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a prostitute, but do you bring two of your younger friends with you on a trick? Like, that seems like a weird thing.
That's a horrible thing.
It seems really weird.
Is that your sister? Were you in charge of watching them? You asshole. This could get way worse.
At least it wasn't an 8-year-old. This is my niece. She made me.
Go in there, Susie.
Go in there, Susie. Here, take some Old Crow. Just go in Chris's trunk. He keeps it there in case of emergency.
If you run out, there is NyQuil and Sprite in the backseat.
Or just ask any police officer. Tell them you need to drive. They'll know what to do. They'll know what to do with you.
Unreal.
So, he wasn't charged at the time. There was, they waited for that. But he is definitely charged with providing alcohol to a bunch of minors in this hotel room. Now, an arrest warrant ends up being filed for the Monica Beeman for filing a false police report.
Oh,
that's how much she made the whole thing up. Like, she made up the whole thing. Yeah. Now they were still looking for her. Now, his attorney said that, other witnesses said that Chris was not drinking alcohol and he didn't bring the alcohol. He said that Henry rented the hotel room where minors were drinking, which is a misdemeanor violation, he says, of a city ordinance known as the keg law. Basically, you can't rent a room for kids so they can get fucked up in it. Yeah, whatever. But that's not what happened. He was there. Yeah. That we know because he did have consensual sex with this girl as well, who at least she's an adult.
She's right.
At least
of legal age.
It's consenting adults. I'm not going to judge anybody, but yeah, it's a little weird. So they ended up she ends up confessing it was consensual.
Oh my God, James, it's Kentucky. I'll bet all 3 of them are legal.
Oh, that's true. In Kentucky, they might be. God. But you can't give them alcohol now.
No, God damn it. Don't get them drunk.
Get them drunk first. Jesus Christ.
Ask them nice.
You ask them nice and, convince them. Maybe.
Treat them. Convince them.
Take them down.
Ask them nice and then talk them into it.
Take them down into the Toys R Us and see if they want anything, maybe. You can bribe them. But you can't coerce them or pay them, though. That's the thing. I mean, you can pay them in toys, but that's different.
Now pay him in Pokemon.
Yeah, I mean, still take it. People take Pokemon and shit's some work things. Now, a week later, after she admits it's consensual, Monica Beeman's arrested for prostitution.
Okay.
Of another thing. Just picked up on the street for being a prostitute.
She's out prostituting again.
So now she's out, yeah. So that's not the last time we'll hear from her, by the way.
Oh, my God.
She's interesting.
Why would he? All right, keep going.
Now, let's put all of making up a rape charge, obviously, is a fucking horrific thing to do. It's
reprehensible.
It's absolutely awful to stick that on someone who didn't do that.
Right.
So we'll put that aside. At the same time, you're a 23-year-old grown man with a high-profile job. Yeah. What the fuck are you doing in a Marriott Courtyard piece of shit hotel in the fucking Kentucky suburbs with 3 teenage girls? Drinking and fucking them.
By the airport.
Stupid? Yeah, it is. Yeah. It's Covington. It's not a big place. Right. Everywhere's by the fucking airport in Covington.
I'll bet
it's airport and woods.
I'll bet
you
it's
been there?
The Courtyard Marriott at the airport.
It's either that or it's in the river or Cincinnati because that's the fucking town. It's airport and then you cross a river.
Right.
You pull out of the airport, you're in the woods. Right. Remember?
Yeah.
We were said, is there any where is Cincinnati? I thought we got picked up by our friends. I thought they were taking us to murder us in the woods because I didn't know. I've never been in an airport.
Why am I
there's no town next to it.
I'm like, no. I was supposed to land in Cincinnati.
Weird. Yeah.
Oh, you did? Yeah. Why does everything say Kentucky?
Why does it say Kentucky and why is there nothing but trees? I've never been in an airport that didn't have a town near it. It's just the town is the airport and woods.
So weird.
It's super strange. So whatever dumb for you can't put yourself. You have to be better than that. Oh, by the way, he's got a girlfriend over this time.
God.
Oh, by the way, he has 2 kids.
No.
Oh, yeah. He's got 2 kids. We'll talk about it. Don't worry.
How do you have 2 kids and you got a 15 and a 16-year-old in a hotel room?
This is what I mean. This is just stupid.
Yeah.
This isn't, like I said, providing alcohol to minors. Yeah, it's dumb. It's not he didn't kill anybody.
Right.
Having sex with an 18-year-old prostitute, not the smartest thing in the world.
Right.
Everybody was consensual, whatever. I mean, it's not great, but it's he didn't kill anybody, but why would you put yourself in the position to embarrass yourself and embarrass everybody around you
and the fucking league and your team
and Marvin Lewis, the coach of the team?
Oh Jesus, what he was.
He said, quote, "That bothers me when someone doesn't quite understand social laws. No question that bothers me, but at some point you have to make a decision whether this guy is good enough for our football team, and decisions can be made that way as well, because if you can't function, then obviously you may not be good enough because I can't count on you." Not what you want your coach saying about you. They can't count on you. Now, September 26th, 2006, this is a couple months later, he's in the car with Odell Thurman, who's a linebacker on the team, and there was a cop said he was working a DUI checkpoint and saw Thurman drive an SUV across a double yellow line on the way to the DUI checkpoint, and so they ended up arresting Thurman for DUI, and Chris Henry's in the front seat, of course, because at least it's not him driving.
Yeah.
But that means that they were drunker, is what that means.
He's more hammered.
Chris is drunker, which is fine. You're not driving.
Swerving.
Yeah, you're not driving, so that's fine. Now, let's get into the weirdness. Now, September 29th, 2006, this is a few months later after the hotel room incident. Monica Beeman here, she apparently went to the, where is this place? The Golf Manor Apartments in, here, and she had sex with a Louis Carcelli for money. And then there was a disagreement over the money. Apparently there was I believe it was $30 was what they were arguing over.
Yeah.
$30. So, Monica Beeman stabbed him 10 times in the chest.
Holy shit.
Not only that, stabbed him 10 times and carved a big X across his chest.
Wow.
So
Monica is a fucking cold bitch.
That's why you don't fucking go into hotel rooms with that could have been you, idiot.
Yeah.
If you argued with her, maybe she would have stabbed and carved you up.
What was this hotel called?
We don't know which hotel. Oh, the Courtyard Marriott.
No.
This is an apartment.
What's it called?
The Golf Manor Apartments.
Okay.
I don't know.
I stayed there.
No, it's not in Kentucky.
No, it's in Cincy.
No, this is I don't know where this is. This is
I swear that's the name of the apartment complex.
Maybe it's Hamilton County.
Oh,
here, so I don't know if that's
in county.
In Hamilton County, I don't know exactly where it is. Maybe it is there.
I'm gonna have to Google that.
So
that sounds so familiar.
She stabbed him over the payment. Here was the whole thing. Here, wow. This is a suburban Cincinnati man. They set a bond of $1 million for her, and on the murder charge and $15,000 on a charge for receiving stolen property. He was 52 years old there. Jesus Christ. This is the same one this is the rape accuser. Yep. Now, 2006, he still plays football, by the way.
Yeah.
He's only played 1 year. Wow. He's already had quite the eventful time.
Sure has.
So 2006, the Bengals go 8-8. This is when they had the downslide because that was Carson Palmer tore his knee up in that playoff game. It's never quite been the same.
This is too bad.
He was never the same. He was still good, but he was never quite the same guy after that.
I think the Steelers won that 2005 year, right?
Was that the year that was if I have to go through every year.
I think that was the year they beat the Cardinals.
That was 2008.
Was it?
2008, 2009. Yeah.
Oh, you're right.
2005.
Yeah, son then.
I believe that was the year, somewhere around there was the Colts and Bears. Remember that terrible Rex Grossman?
Yeah.
The Peyton Manning
win. Manning beat them, right? It may have been the Saints.
The Saints after Katrina.
Right.
Okay, yeah, that's right.
Because all his family came up there.
Against the Colts, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I believe.
Yeah, because Peyton Manning threw an interception to the Saints. And he always wanted to throw a winning touchdown to the Saints, and he did it.
And he did it. Good job. Thanks.
Because of his dad.
His dad was so proud. Yeah. Good job, Peyton. Thank you. Finally won one for me. So, yes, that's an interesting time here trying to figure that out. I couldn't remember 2006, 7. I have to go back to like 82 and do them all in a row.
Get them all.
To remember where the fuck anything was. But Chris ends up playing as a good year here. 13 games he plays. He has 36 receptions, 9 touchdowns. Yeah, not too shabby. Okay. It's a good year for a wide receiver, especially a guy who's not your number one guy.
Right.
Now he goes to court for his drunk driving. This is the June one where he blew
.92.
The pussy.
.092.
Yeah.
Wait, .019. .009. It was a weak ass. Jesus.
Yeah. Well, .08 is the limit.
All right. So it's a weak ass DUI.
Weak. So I mean, honestly, 25 years ago, it used to be .10 was the everywhere. I know in Arizona and New York, it was
the whole country.
It was .10. Yeah. So I mean, that he wouldn't have been. They would have said, "Hey, good job, cut it off just in time."
Way to know your limit.
Way to know, pal.
Way to
give him a high five. Right under it, buddy. So now the court here, the results of the breathalyzer are thrown out because the machine was improperly calibrated. Basically, I have a friend who had a bunch of DUIs. Basically, if you have a lawyer, there's never been a properly calibrated machine ever that's ever made anywhere. If you have a lawyer and you're willing to spend money and have them go into calibrations of machines and shit, and you can afford that, you will be found not guilty of shit. It's just the way it is.
And especially back then. Today, I'm sure because of this loophole,
more digitized, maybe better equipment.
Much more.
You still can't say that. How do you prove that thing was working perfect?
That's a great point.
Even if they inspected it that morning and it did great, well, what happened in the 4 hours before that? Maybe you dropped it. Maybe this happened. Could have gone out of whack.
I don't know if he shit in it.
Yeah, unless it was inspected 5 minutes before that, there's no way you could tell.
I need it inspected right before I blow in it for this shit to be legal.
That's what I mean. So he ends up being given a $250 fine and the 30-day jail sentence, like I said. He'll also have to take random drug tests, and he's prohibited from using alcohol or drugs as part of the agreement here. Yeah. His lawyer declined to comment. The county prosecutor said that his attorney's trying to put everything together to get all of his stuff taken care of at one time. Yeah. Let's clear the slate on Chris and let him start all over here. Now, January 2007, he has to go to court for the giving alcohol to minors, that whole issue. Right. Now, he's sent to jail for 2 days for this after pleading guilty. You, sir, may fuck off. 2 days in jail.
48 hours.
That's not even, it's a terrible fuck off right there. 2 days after he pleads guilty to allowing minors to drink alcohol in his hotel room. That's what he got. That's what he pled guilty of. Where were the 16 and the 15-year-old while he was fucking the 18-year-old? Hopefully not in the room, because that has to be something weird to charge him with, right?
Isn't it? Like, is that indecent exposure?
Your dick should never come out around a sophomore. That's what I'm getting at, ever. So if it does, I feel like there's a problem.
Right.
So I don't know.
it's a dude and he's peeing next to you.
Yeah, and even then, get a stall. Right. I'm not peeing next to some kid. Take my dick out right next to some child.
If that kid's already pissing, you go to the stall.
That's what I mean.
That's what happens.
Weird.
And if you're pissing and that kid pops up, you go, take your ass to the stall, young man.
Put your kid dick out of here.
My dick's out.
Excuse me, adult dick out. Go. So, yeah, it's what he does here. Now, the problem is there have been 9 Bengals arrested in the last 13 months.
Yeah.
This was this time period where everybody on their team was a fucking disaster.
Yeah.
It was the joke of the league where, how many Bengals got arrested today? Right. It was pathetic. So, Henry obviously has been arrested, multiple times. The judge here, Kenton County District Judge Greg Grothos, told Henry, quote, "You brought shame on yourself with this. You embarrassed a lot of people."
Yeah.
So he's been saying he's been brought
shame and embarrassment are
shame. That's a catchphrase
in his life.
Yeah, the embarrassingness here of this guy is a big deal. It's a lot of shame, shameful. So he sentences him to 90. You, sir, may fuck off. 90 days in jail. But he suspends all but 2.
That's where he gets.
That's where he gets to do the 2. He suspends that. It's 88 days in jail.
Yep.
Now he ordered him to serve those days right then, and that's hilarious. And he says, "You embarrassed a lot of people, teammates, friends, family, and the city, the fans, and myself."
Oh God, the whole city
and myself.
Yeah,
he said me. And he ripped open his robe and he had a Bengal shirt on under it, I think, because he literally said, "You embarrassed me," which is hilarious. That's funny, man. I've never heard a judge say that before. Wow.
He has to tell his family how much he loves the Bengals and how much they fuck his life over every year. Finally, he's got a decent team. And Chris Henry, you son of a bitch!
He starts going back to judge. He's like, 1973 was the first game my father took me to over at the old stadium. Now, Paul Brown was still coaching then.
And you embarrass me.
You embarrass me. So he says, the judge also says, prosecutor says, quote, "Looking at his history and the amount of times he's gone before other courts and not gotten jail time, the reason we sought jail time was to send a very clear message to him that this is going to be the response every time you get in trouble in our community. So I hope, as the judge indicated, that he gets the message." I hope so too. Yeah. Now, his coach here, Marvin Lewis, said, "It's good that this case involving Chris has been resolved. Now Chris must continue to strive to mature and grow both as a player and a person."
Yeah.
Very silverly-haired, middle-aged white man thing to say. He's good now.
Yeah.
Now he's going to grow as a mature. Yeah. February 2007, Monica Beeman is back again.
Oh, Jesus.
She pleads insanity to her murder charge.
Oh, really?
It's getting crazier now, yeah. Boy. Her mental condition, she did a psychological workup. Yeah. It turns out that she is a little wacky. She enters a plea of not guilty by reason of insanity. They say that, Jesus Christ, man, she did not meet the criteria of such a plea, is what this report says, though. So now she's got to fight about that. This is hilarious, by the way. This is right from a newspaper. Assistant Hamilton County Prosecutor Kevin Hardman said prostitute Monica Beeman failed. I just love that they just like she's a, Congresswoman Monica Beeman, prostitute Monica Beeman, ridiculous. Fatal stabbing. She says that she thought that he tried to cheat her out of $30. $30. And the prosecutor said it was one of the goriest homicides he's ever seen.
Oh boy.
Stabbed him 10 times and sliced a large X in his chest. Like I said, we're talking shoulders to belly button. Yeah. Just did a whole, 30. I'm surprised she didn't carve 30.
Yeah.
So, he was so bloody, and he tried to escape with all sorts of stab wounds, blood pouring out of everywhere. She ended up, pushing him inside. This was happening as he was trying to escape, and she used, he was so bloody, she just kind of shoved him back into the house, slid him on the wall, and did that because she's all bloody.
Wow.
And she ends up pleading guilty to a charge of murder, and she gets, you, ma'am, may fuck off, life in prison with parole possible after 15 years. Okay. And that is not the last we'll hear from her.
My Christ.
We have more on her. I have more. Don't you worry.
That woman is fucking intense.
Well, we'll find out. You can find out for yourself. Okay. We'll find out. March 21st, 2007.
Yeah.
He's good now.
Yeah.
Everything should be behind him. I mean, Jesus, you got away with all this stuff, and now this one, she didn't kill me. Mm-hmm. you take stock.
Yeah.
Okay. The coach says I'm an embarrassment. The judge says I'm an embarrassment.
Right.
I could have been killed by some barely of age woman who, I had sex with for money. Instead, he is driving his car in the 1100 block of Vine Street.
Yeah.
When the police noticed him not use his turn signal, they pulled over his Cadillac Escalade and they said, "Hey, dummy, you don't have a driver's license.
Oh no!
And you don't have a seatbelt on, stupid." So he's arrested for that. Improper turn. He's not drunk.
Okay.
His vehicle is impounded though. He has to post $100 bond to get out of that one. Now the Bengals said they don't usually discuss legal matters. They said, quote, "While the incident involved a minor traffic matter, the club is frustrated that the issue arose at all."
Yeah.
Stay home. Get a ride. Stop driving, stupid. You're an NFL player. Get a ride.
It's free.
It's free.
It's literally free.
He said the club will await commenting on the specific matter until it is ruled on by the court, and Chris's overall future with our team can be determined only after this and other pending matters are resolved by the NFL. He's such a fuck up, we don't even know what we're doing with him.
Jesus Christ.
So, May 21st, 2007, prosecutor says that the prosecutor says that Chris Henry failed a court-ordered drug test at this point, which is part of his probation. Now, his agent said that's not true.
Oh.
And they said, yes, it is. And they went back and forth.
No, it's not.
That's pending. Yeah, no, he didn't.
Okay.
Peace. I'm out.
Gotta go.
Pull the Lance Armstrong. I don't know what you're talking about. So, 2007, Cincinnati Bengals. He still plays football, by the way.
Wow.
7-9 the Bengals go that year.
Oh, it's getting bad.
It's getting bad. They don't make the playoffs.
Nope.
Chris only plays in 8 games because he is suspended for the other 8. Mm-hmm. So not terrific. He starts 2 games. He catches 21 passes for 343 yards and 2 touchdowns. Not really around enough to make a difference. Mm-hmm. 2007 is also the year that the NFL kind of changed their policies on player conduct.
Oh, yeah.
So when they started having a
conduct detrimental to the team, that shit.
Yeah, and they really started cracking down on shit when people that they gave a shit to crack down upon here. Mm-hmm. They said they had the Mike Brown, the owner of the Bengals, had to say that they've raised their standards as well. It was basically a big for show thing. So many people were getting arrested. The NFL had to make a big show thing, and all the teams had to go, "I totally agree. We won't put up with it anymore."
The Bengals have a code of conduct now.
Business as usual. And then they kept going. So November 6th, 2007, he is in Newport, Kentucky at a restaurant, it looks like here. And somehow, I don't know how I don't even know how this happens, okay? Somehow, Jesus Christ, he ends up assaulting a valet attendant.
What?
He ends up, I don't know.
That's the guy that's the nicest person
that's
at the
guy
place.
who goes, "Here you go, sir," and opens your door for you.
Park this for you.
He punched that guy for some reason.
Wow.
We don't know why, but he got into a big melee brawl and is arrested for assaulting this valet attendant.
God damn.
In November. So this is right after all of the NFL with the new policies.
Yeah.
It's in the beginning of the season. It's fucking November.
Football's in the swing of things.
It's right in the middle of the season here, so not terrific. Now, at this point, he gets a babysitter.
Yeah.
This is the thing that the NFL started doing in the 2000s as well. If they had a jerk-off player, rather than say, "We're not putting up with that jerk-off player," they're like, "What if we hire a guy to stay with him 24 hours a day
the
and
babysitter,
make sure?"
Not for his kids.
No. For him.
For him.
This is, they did it with Pac-Man Jones. I think he got in a fight with his babysitter, an actual physical altercation with the people who are keeping him from getting in physical altercations.
There was somebody that was like evading his babysitter. Like he was
all the time, yeah.
He
that
like set up diversions to get rid of the guy.
Absolutely, yeah. This is Chris has earned himself a babysitter now. And we're talking to the point where when he goes home for a family funeral, this guy comes with him.
You're talking about a 25-year-old man.
And he brings some 50-year-old white dude with him down to New Orleans to go to a family funeral.
No booze, Chris.
Yeah, sorry, yeah. So this is a guy named Rusty Guy.
Oh, boy.
That's his babysitter.
Oh, that is as white as it gets.
Oh, he's super white, too, yeah. He says he liked Chris Henry a lot. He says that he had to go to a trip home with him for a family funeral. And he said that Chris was kind of pissy about having a babysitter.
Yeah.
And
I'd like to have a drink.
Yeah.
My family's dying.
That's what I mean. Well, this guy said I wasn't real fucking crazy about it either. I didn't really want to babysit a grown man either.
Also, I'm allowed to drink, Chris.
Yeah.
And I can't drink around you.
I shouldn't. wouldn't.
So
but
this is bullshit for me too.
He says, quote, this is the guy. He says, I stuck out like a sore thumb. I wasn't family and I wasn't African American. So it's just a black New Orleans funeral and this guy sitting in the middle of it like, well, this is weird. They don't want me here, right?
Right.
I don't know these people. I don't know the dead person. So this is strange for me to be here. So he said, we were sitting around his grandmother's house. It was uncomfortable for both of us. Chris made a point of coming over and asking me to get something to eat with him. He made the best of it. He said he called Chris Henry thoughtful, respectful, and exceedingly kind. Okay. Everybody says he's very kind. That's always a thing. Unless you, I don't know, scratch his car when you park it. Or then he's not kind.
Yeah. Or you don't, you make an agreement for sex for money with him.
Well, yeah.
He's not going to give it. Did he pay?
Yeah, he paid.
Yeah, he paid.
He's
all
fine.
Right.
Yeah,
well, you know what? Maybe he is kind.
I think he's kind. Maybe he was just doing her a favor.
Yeah.
He's like, listen, like someone who's selling something. What are you selling? Oh, your ass? Well, wonderful. I'll take
How
3.
Much is
How many
200?
boxes?
I will take 3.
I'll take 3 candy bars. Maybe. I don't know. So.
May I buy a case?
Guy says, quote, we just hit it off. I don't know why. He was one of the kindest, most thoughtful people I've ever met in my entire life. You hear the expression, give you the shirt off his back, and that was Chris to the T. Maybe that was his downfall at times. If somebody said, let's do something, he couldn't say no. He realized it wasn't in his best interest, but he never wanted to hurt anybody's feelings. He's a kind, gentle human being and respectful of his elders. You couldn't ask for a better person.
Yeah.
So that's what people all say about him when they get him kind of one-on-one in an environment that's not in a car with alcohol, basically. Right. So,
or in a nightclub in Orlando.
Yeah, but he's also on house arrest.
Oh, jeez.
So he's got problems. 2008, the guy here, the security dude, they get the Bengals drafted Jason Shirley, who was a defensive tackle, and Guy took him to 2 different places. He took Shirley to John Thornton's house, who was a responsible, established guy who lived in like a nice, affluent neighborhood and had a family and little kids dressed in like church clothes and
or
shit.
Or you can go this way.
Then he took him to Chris's house. Literally, he took him there. He took him to Chris's house, who was sitting with an ankle bracelet on, and whatever. And he said they left the house, and he said to Shirley, quote, which way do you want to go? Where do you want to be?
Here's the good part. Here's the bad part.
He's the example of fuckery is
They're
the problem.
both signed by your team.
Yep. Go either way. You could have it all, or you could be sitting here with an ankle bracelet on, crossing your fingers you don't get cut because of your stupid behavior. So, now Jesus Christ, he is, stopped in late 2008 or March 2008. He is ticketed for driving with expired license plates.
Guy?
No. What? Who are we talking about for an hour and 40 minutes
I don't know,
right now?
we were just talking about Guy.
Yeah, why would I care about his license plates? What are we going to switch to him now?
Right.
Let's talk about his family.
The guy's a piece of shit too.
Guy's from blah blah blah. And let's talk about his fucking shortcomings too. No, unless he can catch a ball, I'm not interested. So, welcome to Crime and Security Guards. Welcome to crime and low-level football team employees.
Crime and sports babysitters.
That would be something. So he's driving with expired Kentucky license plates, which there's no excuse for.
No.
Get your fucking plates fixed.
They're 11 cents.
Yeah, fix your shit.
Yeah.
He pays $149 in fines and court costs. Ooh, wow.
And that's like also including 5 years of license plates.
And then also 5 years of fucking Kentucky license plates.
$149.
Jesus, they should pay you to drive on a goddamn state. So April 1st, 2008, Jesus Christ here, he is in an altercation.
Yeah. Oh, Chris.
He's in an altercation here. It's Hamilton County again. He is identified by a guy named Gregory Meyer, and an eyewitness. The eyewitness and Gregory Meyer claim that Henry, punched Gregory Meyer, causing visible injury. And then as Meyer tried to drive away, Chris threw a beer bottle through the back window of his car.
Okay. You can't do that.
You can't do any of that stuff.
He's leaving. Fight's over. You've won.
Nope. He decided to do that. So it's not good. He broke the windshield of the car. Apparently has to plead not guilty to charges of assault and criminal damage, which is terrible. This guy was an 18-year-old kid that he did this with. He's a little too old for this shit. You're in your mid-20s. Calm the fuck down now. 23, 24, you don't get in fights with 18-year-olds anymore here.
He just did his first walk, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, and the guy didn't know who he was at all, and he said he didn't know who he was. He didn't know his name, but he did pick him out of 2 separate lineups. So he knows who he is by sight, apparently. So then he gets before a judge. Chris does. This is awesome. Sits before a judge in this court appearance to post bond, and the judge says, "You're just a one-man crime wave, aren't you?" Which is amazing. A one-man crime wave.
Aren't you?
Aren't you? That has to make you drop your head a little bit. Oh. The guy with the gavel just said, "I'm a one-man crime wave." That is not terrific.
And it's not even like impressive crimes. It's all just stupid fuckery.
Yeah. There is a different it's discrepancy of whether he broke the window and then punched him or punched him and then broke the window.
Really?
We're not sure. And I don't know which one is worse. I really don't. Either way, it's crazy.
It's got to be punched him. Kid jumps in car to drive away because he's 6 foot
it's the rear passenger too. Or he might have thrown it and then the kid slams on the brakes because a beer bottle hit his window.
And
then Chris runs over and starts socking him. I don't know if that happened too. Either way, he's in some trouble for that. Assault's a pretty good charge.
It really is.
April 3rd, 2008. That was April 2nd, 2008. April 3rd, 2008. The Bengals have had enough. They cut his ass.
Really?
They cut him. The president, Mike Brown, who is the owner's kid and all that kind of shit. He says that he's done. Mike Brown said, quote, "His conduct can no longer be tolerated. The Bengals tried for an extended period of time to support Chris in his potentially bright career. We had hoped to guide him toward an appropriate standard of personal responsibility that this community would support and that would allow him to play in the NFL. But those efforts end today as we move on with what is best for our team." He says that he forfeited his right to play on the team. He forfeited his career with the club based on his stupid behavior.
Wow.
His agent, Marvin Frazier, he said that that's not what, basically he says that's not what happened. The kid made this up and it wasn't to Chris's fault and blah, blah, blah. Frazier said, quote, "I was told it didn't happen the way the man said it did." So there's that. So, dude.
Unreal.
I mean, you're at a bad place with your life right now.
You've got 3 years in the NFL. You have a tattoo.
You have 11 people living in your house,
right?
And you're not going to make money now because you just got cut from the most lenient team in the league.
Right.
If there's a team that'll put up with fuckery, and Mike Brown prides himself, he says, on he calls himself a quote redeemer.
Right.
His whole thing, he's like a George Steinbrenner, so he likes to grab the wayward people and bring them in, and that's funny because they keep comparing. A weird comparison, but they keep comparing Chris Henry to Steve Howe in a lot of different things, only because the Mike Brown, George Steinbrenner,
got it.
Like he must like this guy a lot. He keeps giving him these extra chances, so you keep getting a Steve Howe comparison over like a 3-year period. It's very strange. Which Steve Howe did a bunch of coke, and he was a menace compared to Chris Henry.
This is wild that Chris Henry was such a good player and made such an impact in the NFL that a 3-year career makes him stick out in my
he'll
head.
Be back. Don't worry. He'll be back.
All
this is it is the Bengals.
Yeah.
You think they're going to just stick to this?
Good. I was going to say, Jesus, I didn't realize he only played 3 years.
He's a fucking mess. I mean, he's literally at his home where people knock on the door, and it's not any of our characters. No. It's the NFL security guy with a newly drafted person to say, "Look at this example of shit." Look at this example of the worst case scenario of what could happen to your stupid ass.
Good morning, Chris. No, I don't need anything. I just wanted to show a new recruit how fucked your life is.
Yeah. Look at this place. A shithole. He's got no furniture. He's got sheets. He's using his curtains.
Look at this fucking guy.
It's super, and he does. That's what I mean. That's how his house is. And he took him to the other guy's house, and it was all beautiful suburb
linens,
and he had linens in his closet.
That's the difference. He's got linens in his closet, whereas the other guy's got sheets.
His wife picked out patterns, and then they did stuff with them, and like they have curtains and shit. Yeah, not just sheets.
There's a difference between linens and sheets.
Absolutely. Yeah, sheets are when you have less than 3 sets. They're sheets.
Right.
If you have like 10 things, then you have linens at that point. It's in your closet because you need a closet for them. Otherwise, you just stick them in one of your drawers. I got 1 fitted sheet and 2 of these top shelves. Stick them in my drawer. It's fine. I don't need a whole closet for this shit.
And they didn't even come as a set. I had to buy them all separate because these are sheets.
These are shitty. They're sheets. So he's got problems here. And the guy, the security dude, he's like, Jesus Christ, he doesn't know what else to do.
Yeah.
He said, I have a friend that could help him maybe. And he sends his friend over, cause he's in this business, in the security business. He kind of says, maybe I can help this guy along a better path. And he does that, and he sends his friend over, and the guy knocks on the door, and it's Dexter Manley.
Oh, fantastic.
Interior decorator from New York City. And he needs to see Chris Henry.
Yeah.
And he says, how is it you've come to arrive here? Seriously. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. What are you doing? 18-year-old prostitutes who stab people. Chris, look at me. Look at me, Chris. I like your little anklet. It's nice and all, but you need to keep your eyes. Let's focus now. Focus. You're white trash. Do you understand that? Do you understand 18-year-old alcohol with 15? That's in Kentucky. That's the trashiest thing I've ever heard. You gave 15-year-old girls alcohol in the state of Kentucky. Like, you might as well have married one of them. That's the only thing trashier than that. That girl could have murdered you. You're driving around. Get a cab. Do something. You're white trash. I'm sorry. You're white trash. I'm sorry. You might as well have an El Camino engine hanging from the tree in your front yard. It's pathetic at this point. I won't even work on this place. Nice sheets. Goodbye. Poof. And a poof of purple glitter and pink boas. He's gone, and Chris is very confused. Yeah. This is worse than when the security guy brought a guy over to use him as an example. He's even more confused than that. So, April 7th, 2008, he goes on the radio to talk to Michael Irvin to tell everybody that he's cleaning up his act.
He's going on the radio?
On the radio.
Why don't you just fucking clean up your act?
Nope, you go on the radio with Michael Irvin going, look, man, I'm cleaning up my act. And Michael Irvin was a fuck up.
Yeah.
And so he
understands.
He's understanding to that sort of thing. And he says that you and Pac-Man Jones should both get your shit together. And I agree with that sort of shit. It's all good. By the way, they were teammates.
Yeah. At that time.
At West Virginia also.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So,
how about that?
Yeah. They both are serving suspensions at that point. So there's a real correlation there.
Wow.
So, June 13th, 2008, Henry is suspended indefinitely by the NFL.
Yeah.
This is after the latest incident with the beer bottle. Now, July 10th, 2008, Chris Henry has a home in Florence, Ohio that he loses due to foreclosure.
Of course.
He did not pay the rent, the mortgage after May.
And 11 people are evicted.
And everyone's evicted. He bought the home in 2005. It was worth $360,000. At least he didn't buy something that was well over his grade here.
Crazy.
Yeah. His lawyer said that he's completely broke, and the paper reports he earned about $2.5 million as a Bengal altogether.
Wow.
And that's gone now, I would imagine.
3 years.
3 years. So July 14th, 2008, prosecutors dropped the assault charge against him after a judge ruled on several motions before a trial. He had a trial. It went to the jury, and there was a mistrial. The jury couldn't because a hung jury ends up being a mistrial. So they're going to have a retrial, and there's all sorts of motions going back and forth. This is for a simple assault charge. It's not worth it. So the prosecutors end up dropping the charge here, and so it's like it never happened.
Yeah.
Like it never happened. So they're asking his team, hey, now that he's gotten this charge dropped, do you want him back?
Right.
Marvin Lewis, in a word, no. He's not too interested. Let's see what he says. He says, quote, I'm not interested. So I think that's
not interested.
Pretty nice. He said, I don't think it would be productive for our football team. You have to be a productive part to be an NFL player, and there's responsibilities to being an NFL player. It's a privilege. It's not a right. There's a lot that comes with being an NFL player. But Mike Brown, who has a little more clout than Marvin Lewis, he sees things a little bit differently. He says, quote, I guess the world is divided up between redeemers and non-redeemers. This is what he says. I happen to be a redeemer. He's super proud of himself. He's super proud of him.
Go ahead and coach some college teams there, Marv.
Hang on one second. Let me just... I got it my back. Just get it back. And I happen to be a redeemer. I think people can be made better and right. If that's a fault, so be it. These guys misstepped. They've made mistakes. They paid prices for it and have been verging on ruinous. But that doesn't mean I dislike them personally. I see them as people. I regret what's happened to them, and I regret they're no longer here. That's all history now. We're going forward, and we're going to try to go forward with the kind of guys we can count on, the kind of guys who are just not good players, but also good citizens. That's what he says, okay? Then, during training camp, Ocho Cinco and TJ Husmanzada and Andre Caldwell, all of their receivers, are all injured during preseason.
No.
So, Chris Henry overnight automatically becomes not only a good player, but a good citizen.
Where is Catfish?
Very quickly, he becomes a good citizen. It was very fast. So, they re-sign him on August 18th to a 2-year contract because
redeemed.
They have nowhere. He knows the system. Who the fuck else are they going to get at that point? So, Chris says, quote, I knew what I had to do when I was ready to do it. That situation came about and I had to get my way out of it because I wasn't at fault. I had to keep working and get through it. So he's ready to go. This is obviously a month after Marvin Lewis said, I'm not interested. Right. That guy's a piece of shit.
He's now my number one.
Got nothing else going on. He takes a physical and agrees on the contract. So his agent said, I'm just glad they're willing to let the past be the past and give him a chance. I hope the Cincinnati fans will give him the same type of chance. Don't worry. Other guys do much worse. He's way down on the list of...
Oh, God.
Yeah.
He hasn't even punched a woman yet.
Not even a little bit. No, I mean, prostitute, an 18-year-old and all that. But still.
Listen, she didn't get punched.
That's right.
She was very well taken care of, and she got paid. She got
her $30. So Marvin Lewis said he met with Chris Henry, his fiance, and their 3 children. Children, by the way, one of them is a girl who is his fiance's sister's girl who they're taking care of, and they've pretty much adopted. They've adopted her though at this point. And then he has 2 sons, DeMarcus and Chris Jr.
Of course.
You knew that was coming.
Why not?
Why not? Add him to the list, everybody. Whoever's keeping a tally of fucking juniors,
there goes
throw another one on there. I had 2 weeks in a row at least, because I know Patillo had one last week too, who turned out to be a dentist. So very weird. So he said he went to meet with them. Marvin Lewis did. Marvin Lewis said, quote, there was a different man that was sitting across from me. From that point on, we've seen a continual growth of Chris, a degree of responsibility, quite an expansion both on the field and off the field. What is he saying now? He's good now. He just did an I'm good now and silver-haired middle-aged white man all at once.
Pretty incredible.
Not bad, Marvin. Good job here. So he says that he was once skeptical of Chris Henry, Marvin Lewis does, but then Henry asked him how to get extra tickets to a local high school football game so that his family members could attend, and he said that touched him. That he wanted to get tickets for his family. It doesn't take much.
No.
It doesn't take a lot.
He gave some shit.
He
gave some
weird.
free shit to his own family.
He walked by this one guy, and he could have punched him in the nose for no reason. He didn't.
No.
I thought that's maturity.
I thought that was very nice.
Maturity. He didn't stab him or anything. It was pretty good. So, it's weird. So he has to serve a 4-game suspension for violation of the league's policies, though. And then once he is done with that, he is activated on October 4th. So 2008, the Bengals go 4-11-1. That is rock bottom there. Not good.
Marvin Lewis had the greatest piece of shit career in the history of the NFL.
He just coached for 20 years.
Yes, for so long. Just a loser.
Amazing defensive coordinator. Had made that Bengals defense so good and all that, and then goes to Cincy, has like 2 good years, and then is terrible for like a dozen, and they're like, one more year.
One more year.
One more time. One more chance. Like, what?
Stick around, Marv.
Guys get fired for... Marty Schottenheimer got fired when he went 14-2 one year. What are you talking about?
Because he called the defensive line guy a dickhead.
Well, no, because they lost in the first round of the playoffs, and that.
But he was swearing at him.
So
no, you can't have that, Marty.
No, Marty. 2008, he plays in 12 games. Chris does. Only starts one of them, but plays in 12 games. He has 19 receptions, 220 yards, and 2 touchdowns. So he's back on the team.
Yeah.
After the season, he gets a tattoo below his ear that says "blessed" in cursive.
Yeah.
So he gets a blessed tattoo. He says, I felt like I kind of dug myself out of the hole and started doing the right things. People say, how you feeling now, Chris? You doing all right? And I just tell them I'm blessed. That's why I got it.
Fast forward 10 years, it's a basic white bitch tattoo.
Yeah, now every Midwestern white woman has that tattoo.
Tattooed above her ass crack.
Yeah. Or on her thumb.
Yeah.
So,
side of her finger.
He says, I don't live the way I did in the past. I kind of plan my days out and take it one day at a time and stay away from the wrong people. I'm not partying anymore. I'm just focused on football right now and my family. I don't associate with the same people. I've completely changed everything. Everything's different.
How good now is he?
He, my friend, is good now.
Yeah.
That was the ultimate, I am good now.
I've changed everything.
I've changed everything. You don't understand how good I am.
Even the good stuff, I changed that too.
Just to make sure.
Right.
I do different good stuff
just
now.
That I'm a different guy.
I used to eat a lot of broccoli. Now I eat a lot of asparagus. It's just one of those things. It's like, you know what? Maybe it's the broccoli that caused it. You never know. You don't know what kind of chemicals are in that shit.
Every now and again.
Hey, you know what? What the fuck? So 2009 Cincinnati, he still plays football.
Wow.
10-6 they
all
go.
Right.
So now they're back. They make the playoffs.
Yeah.
They go all the way to the playoffs against the New York Jets and lose 24-14 in the wild card. 2009 is when the Jets started making little runs into the playoffs. 2010 is when they went to the AFC Championship game against so they were doing well there for a minute when Mark Sanchez first came in. They first got him when they used to just not let him do anything.
Right.
His job was to snap the ball and give it to somebody else.
Until the butt fumble ruined his whole life.
That destroyed his life.
Everything.
It did. It destroyed his life.
Forever.
And now he just goes around on... he just smiles.
Yeah.
He's just like the Mario Lopez of the NFL.
He's got a shitload of money.
He's Mario Lopez of the NFL. He just goes around and smiling. What the fuck are you smiling about? What happened to your career? Mario Lopez, you're on the fucking hotel movie channel now. That's all you do. And then Mark Sanchez hasn't taken a snap in fucking 8 years. So what are we talking about here?
He rubbed a ball against a dude's asshole.
Well, no, he fell on it and couldn't find it.
Right.
He was
because it came up through the snap wasn't even.
No, and then he sat on it like an idiot and couldn't figure it out.
Is that what it is? He sat on it?
He ended up sitting on it, I believe, and couldn't.
But the snap was just bad in the first place.
The whole thing was a mess.
It was just a bad play.
Goddamn disaster.
And he looks like an asshole.
Well, yeah.
Because he's an asshole.
Because he's an asshole. Pretty son of a bitch. Him and Carson Palmer, USC, pretty quarterback.
Carson Palmer, Matt Leinart.
You could be wonderful at quarterback, and I feel like when you go there, they're like, I don't know, he's not handsome enough. We need him to be more handsome to run this team. I don't know. The receivers are not going to catch a ball for a guy who's not handsome. You know what I mean? It's going to go right off their fingertips. That's how it works.
I need his hair in a coif.
Who plays for someone who's not handsome? Tell me that. How's he going to play if he's not handsome?
Let's see your chest hair.
Come on. So he plays in 8 games this year. He is none started. He has 12 receptions, 236 yards, and 2 touchdowns this year. So kind of the same year he had last year. But he suffers a broken right arm while making a 20-yard catch against Baltimore.
Oh, shit.
In November, and is placed on injured reserve.
Who did it? Ed Reed?
I don't think he fell on it.
Oh.
Doesn't matter. I think
wish Ed
was
Reed
one of those
blasted him.
I don't think so. So that would have been more fun though.
Yeah.
Angry ass Ed Reed. So he's placed on injured reserve. That's why he only played in 8 games. He wasn't suspended or anything. Those were the 8 that he was healthy for here. So now he's on injured reserve, and I mean, if he is turning everything around, and he hasn't gotten arrested in like a year, so that's a smart thing. If he is turning everything around and he's trying really hard in football and recommitting himself, it kind of sucks that he would break his arm. Then at least it's not like he didn't blow out his knee or one of those residual injuries. Right. You know what I mean? Because otherwise that's terrible. But I mean, the Bengals have put so much into him to get him back, and then he's like, Jesus, we only got him for 8. You know how much shit? I had to do like 12 interviews about this fucking guy. It's ridiculous. I mean, I feel bad for all these people, Jimmy. I really do, but not nearly as bad as I feel for Chris Henry, senior manager of corporate communications at Allstate in Northern Ireland.
Yeah.
Chris Henry, staff software engineer at Google in Mountain View, California. He went to National University of Singapore. Chris Henry, executive vice president at Alpine Bank, commercial and industrial lending. That's Sunflats in Denver, Denver metropolitan area. And Chris Henry, vice president sales and product manager of the avocado department at Del Monte Fresh Produce. I don't know. The avocado
guy in charge of the whole fucking
avocado program.
program,
not even department. Avocado program. That's amazing. And finally, this is pretty amusing. Chris Henry, Chief Risk Officer at Chase Home Lending. That's funny. I don't know how he might be a little risky.
Yeah, I know a guy who's risky as fucking home mortgages. Don't talk to him.
This guy's a bit risky. Yeah. He's going to tell you who's risky and not. Now, he's doing better, though. He's doing better. Marvin Lewis said he's doing better. Marvin Lewis said, since last August, when I had a talk with Chris and filled Mike Brown in, that's the team owner, in with the details of our meeting, there was a different man that was sitting across from me. From that point on, we've seen a continual growth. It's pretty much the same thing he did before, except without the expansion on the field and off the field.
Right.
Now, in an interview with the Cincinnati Enquirer, he says the same thing. This is in October 2009. Chris Henry believes he's doing better. He credits his fiancée for helping him straighten out his life.
Yeah.
He says, she's been a big help. She didn't leave me when I had sex with an 18-year-old prostitute and gave booze to other teenage girls, which is helpful. I don't know. She's right there with me. He didn't say that, obviously. She's been right there with me, going through things and helping out on my side. We have the kids, and she has my back with everything I've needed. So there's that. So he's very blessed, as he says. He says, quote, I don't live the way I did in the past. I kind of plan my days out, and says that whole thing. So he's completely changed everything. He doesn't associate with the same people anymore.
Right.
He's good now, once again. So, mid-December 2009, he's with his fiancée. He's injured and off the, out of football at the moment from being injured. He's, his fiancée's name is, Lolini Tonga. She's Polynesian. Because her family is all Polynesian. Right. And so there's a connection there, as we'll talk about. It's the only reason why that's important. Okay. So her MySpace page, which she still has a MySpace page, identifies her as Mrs. C. Henry. So, I mean, they're engaged. They have kids. They're whatever. And has a picture of her next to Chris Henry on her MySpace page and all that. She has a post from that week talking about buying wedding rings that week. So this one day in December 15th, they're together. They met a wedding planner to talk about the wedding. Right. And the wedding planner says that Chris was, quote, annoyed and aggravated by the cost of the wedding. Because this is when he was finding out how much it would cost. Because he's a man, and he's like, we could just do this shit,
Can we not do it like this? Yeah. This is stupid.
I'm so lucky, because Sarah was like, we don't need to have all this, and we got married in our yard. Right. We invited, like, you and, like, our parents, and we were like, there, we're married now. We didn't care about having a big stupid thing. Jesus. It was stupid. We're like, why are we going to... You can't afford it.
Chris doesn't have a job.
Well, he does now, but he's injured.
Right.
But he's back, but it's still
not working.
He doesn't have a ton of money either to throw away. So apparently they said that he seemed annoyed and aggravated by the cost, and they were arguing about it. They were discussing photography pricing in the planner's office. This is in Charlotte. Mm-hmm. And the company said that Henry got so upset over the bill that she said, quote, with an attitude, he asked his fiancée, how much are we paying for all this shit? So he was not like, he was hearing numbers. This is how much this costs, that costs. He was like, what's the total that we're paying here? I could hear him be like, oh, it's only $5,000 for that. And then $6,000 for that. And then after a while, he's like, I've heard a lot of 5 and 6.
Heard a lot of grands following these numbers.
They're adding up. Yeah. What are we paying for all this shit? This is fucking crazy. So then I guess the wedding planner said that they bickered for a while. And then Chris ended up walking out of the store, leaving his fiancée to fill out the paperwork and pay the deposit. He's like, fuck this shit. I'm going outside. I don't even want to hear it. I don't want to deal with this shit. So they fight, and that ends up happening. That's December 15th, 2009. Now, December 16th, 2009, he's still with his fiancée, Lolani. They're in Charlotte, where her family lives. She stays with her. She was staying with her family. He's on injured reserve, like we said. They're planning their wedding. They get into an argument at home.
Again.
This is around noon.
Yeah.
They get into a dispute at home that spills into the outdoors of a lot of yelling and screaming and, pretty lively argument between an engaged couple, how that might go. And apparently she Lelani hops in her pickup truck. She's got like a big jacked up truck, like with big tires on it and shit. You would love this goddamn thing. It's like mini Bigfoot.
Right. It's like what a southern gangster that fishes drives.
Exactly. That's what I mean. And also a 25-year-old black woman.
Yeah. Right. Hell yeah.
Thing. So yeah, she has this big cool truck. It's a pretty cool truck. It's yellow too. It really stands out.
Is it a Chevy? It's a Chevy.
I don't know what brand it is.
Chevy.
So she jumps in her truck to take off.
Yep.
Okay. Now, a nearby person heard Chris say, quote, "If you take off, I'm going to jump off the truck and kill myself." That's what he said. So don't take the fuck off. Stay here. Where are you going? I'll get on there. I'll fucking jump off and kill myself. People say crazy shit all the time. So according to the police, the quote, "the domestic situation continued between the operator and Mr. Henry." Okay. And this is what ended up happening. A 911 tape comes in. She drove away in the pickup truck, and let's just pick it up with the 911 tape. A woman calls in, who's driving behind Lelani, and said, quote, there's a truck with a guy in the back of it.
Yeah.
Quote, "It's got a black man on it with no shirt on, and he's got his arm in a cast and black pants on. He's beating on the back of this truck window. I don't know if he's trying to break in or something. It just looks crazy. There's a girl driving it."
Okay.
So that's the 911 call. And you could hear this girl. She's just like, this looks crazy. There's a girl driving. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Shit.
That's basically what it is. I don't know what's happening. It's
There's
crazy.
a man in the back of this pickup truck. It's not a normal man in the back of the pickup truck. Usually they're sitting with their back to the cab,
how it works,
looking at me, and we're making uncomfortable eye contact right in a seat.
In the seat and all. Got a dog next to him. You know how it goes in the back of a pickup truck.
We're making weird eye contact. I don't know if to wave. He doesn't know to wave.
This is interesting because you can hear in the 911 call, the woman's talking about this, and they're like, "Okay, well, is he still in the back of the truck?" And she's like, "Oh, I turned off like a while back. I'm going to my husband's job right now, so I had to go here."
They're way back there.
They're like, "Okay, well, thanks, I guess," and that's the end of the fucking call. Like it's on here. So, 1 minute later, a man calls 911. To say that he sees, quote, "a man lying in the road."
Oh, no.
And definitely unconscious.
Yeah.
According to the police report, at some point while she was driving, this is all it ever says, quote, "Mr. Henry came out of the back of the vehicle." That's all they ever get. They don't know if he was thrown from it, if he jumped from it. No one knows what the fuck happened here. Two people from homes nearby saw this happen here, and they came running outside. One woman said she came outside with a blanket when she saw that he wasn't wearing a shirt. She came out to try to help him. She says, quote, "When I got there, he was laying on the ground out there, and he was very unresponsive, laying flat on the ground. He was foaming at the mouth, and I was worried what was happening then."
Oh, boy.
Which sounds bad. Now, they did say that Tonga stopped down the street when she noticed what happened and turned around and came back to try to help him. She didn't run him over or anything. So he's taken to the hospital with head injuries, and he's unconscious. And his mom comes in, and he's got his kids there and shit, he's unconscious all night long. And at 6:36 a.m. he's pronounced dead.
Oh no.
Yeah. Died.
What?
Steve Howd.
James, you said death-defying.
Well, he did defy it for a while.
Oh, my God.
And then he didn't.
Steve Howe is fuck.
That's what I mean. And they kept comparing him to Steve Howe well before he died.
How could they do that?
Hold on a second. We've only had two people thrown from a truck to their death.
Wow.
And they both, it's very weird.
They compared him to him.
They compared him to him early on.
Holy shit. So
Chris ends up, he's dead here. It's crazy, man. One of his coaches said he had turned a corner. There's no doubt in my mind. They said that he'd become a good teammate. He ended bad associations that he had. He wasn't interested in partying like he was before. He was more into just his relatives and his fiance. He said that his one teammate is Samoan and his fiance was Polynesian, so he started hanging out with that teammate. That's what I was saying. They kind of all had a connection there. It's crazy, man. A teammate of his said he was just coming to realize what life was all about, just starting to realize what his priorities were. Friends, family, children, team. Jesus Christ, it's crazy too. They have, it's a very sad thing. I mean, all the players are sad. Ocho Cinco's crying on the field and shit. They, wore a sticker on their helmets. His mother said, quote, "My son was becoming the man we knew he could be." Mike Brown, the team's president there. He said he was good at what he did as a player. He was good at what he did as a player. He was excellent. He was a teammate to our players, a friend to almost all of us in the building. Some of us thought he was a piece of shit, but almost all of us.
He was an embarrassment.
Some of us were a little embarrassed. We knew him in a very different way than his public persona. We liked him. He had worked through troubles in his life and had seemingly reached to the point where everything was going to blossom and he was going to have the future we all wanted for him and that he wanted for himself. He also says he had troubles and some of them were made more of than I think they actually were. Yes, it was challenging at times with him, but he was someone we liked. It's a terrible tragedy that just at a time he was running to daylight, his life was snuffed out. Carson Palmer said, Chris was a guy I believe and our team believes was heavily misunderstood. There was a lot of speculation about who he was, but only the only guys that knew Chris and knew how good of a heart he had and how kind he was and how gentle he was and how soft of a heart he had were the guys in our locker room, the guys who were close to him and his family. Roger Goodell even talks about it.
What? That guy's a dick.
Yeah, he says his future as a husband and a father were important to him. He was a young man that struggled and made some decisions he regretted, but he put himself on the right path, and I'm proud of that. I'm proud of him. His fiance, who is under some fire at the moment, she says, quote, can't nobody feel what I'm feeling right now. We loved each other very much. People say I helped change his life. No, he changed mine. We were supposed to get married in 3 months, but I'm going to wait until I see him again. Now, so that's all the reactions from everybody. Then the other reaction is, this is amazing, by the way. Those are from everywhere, every site, like, paper and site and everything had like reaction from the coach, from the team, from all these people. Beckett.com. Beckett, like the price guide for sports cards.
They had a reaction?
They had an article about him.
Yeah.
And rather than put like, they have like, Chris Henry died, blah, blah, blah. And usually it would be like, statement from his family, statement from somebody. They put, quote, Henry appears on 363 football cards, including 86 autographs and just 13 memorabilia cards. His most valuable autograph in the Beckett.com database is 2005 Finest Black X-Fractors number 165 card, which is valued at $60, while his most valuable rookie card is his 2005 Exquisite Collection autograph number 46, which is valued at $40. That's their fucking summary of his life.
That's
363 football cards.
That's the in memoriam.
Yeah.
His most expensive card is $60. So
he had a fiance, 3 children, and about 363 football cards. Ridiculous. So the police investigate this whole thing. They have rumors here. There are people around the couple who say that his fiance has a history of domestic violence and has a severe drinking problem. So there's people saying that. This source says, quote, I knew the next time Chris would get in trouble, it would be because of that girl. She drinks all the time. They get into fights, and she's even bragged about getting into disputes with former boyfriends, is what they said. So there's people trying to put a lot of stank on the girlfriend and make it her fault. The police spokesperson said, quote, there's nothing new to report. She hasn't been criminally charged in his death, nor has she been cited for any traffic violations. That said, the investigation into the death continues. We understand the time concerns that people have, but unfortunately we cannot rush the investigation to satisfy people's curiosity into whether or not the fiance will be charged. Fucking fair. Right. Totally fair. Now, the cousin said, to be honest, I felt fishy about it, about the fiance thing. Things weren't adding up, but when I saw my auntie before the funeral, that's Chris's mom, and she said she was at peace and she believed everything they said had happened. I swear on everything. I love that, and I love that I never thought about it again. Once she said she was at peace, it just left me. So the mother, the police say there's no charges. She had no alcohol in her system. She didn't do any crazy traffic shit. Right. It's just a crazy thing that happens that he is an accident.
This is why you don't get in the back of a fucking
and bang on windows.
Truck.
Yeah, let her go.
Jesus.
Fucking call her later. It's fine.
She's irrational right now.
Yeah, you're both being irrational. Right. She's going to drive away. You're going to hop in the back of a truck. It's just silly.
You've got one arm.
You've got one arm. That's the other thing too. So he couldn't probably catch himself.
No.
Even didn't have a chance of catching himself.
God, no.
Even so, he landed pretty much on his head.
Yeah,
and was taken in with head injuries. And we'll find out from his autopsy, it's blunt force trauma to the head is what kills him here. So it's the family, though. Once the police say they're done, they're not, there's no criminal charges. The family just says they're not going to be, fuck her. They're going to embrace her and pretend like everything's fine, basically. Which, I mean, what else are you going to do? They have these kids, and the mother wants to see the grandkids. Now, after his death, the doctor came to the mother and said, do you want to donate his organs?
Yeah.
Because, he's otherwise healthy and it's a head injury. The rest of his body's fine. He didn't have any diseases or anything. And so she does. She decides to donate his organs. His corneas, lungs, kidneys, heart, and liver and pancreas were all put in transplants and saved 4 people's lives.
Wow.
4 people. Yeah.
Way to go, Chris Henry.
Not bad. Well, his mom anyway. Yeah. She said, quote, I didn't know anything about organ and tissue donation. I knew that that's what Chris would have wanted. He'd give you the shirt off his back.
Well.
So
the organs inside.
The organs out of his back. So not far away there's a in Mooresville, North Carolina, a woman named Donna Arnold was waiting for a kidney and pancreas transplant.
She needed both.
50 years old. She had diabetes since she was 16. She had been on dialysis for a year and a half. She had to take 3 insulin injections a day. That's rough, man. She said, I didn't want to do anything. When it got to the point of dialysis, I realized I might die. And she said that she got a call saying your organs are in.
All right.
And so, yeah, she said that she wished she could hug him and tell him how grateful she was.
Yeah.
She said
she knows all of the Cincinnati Bengals playbook.
Yeah, it's weird. It's super weird. She runs a button hook better than any other 50-year-old lady in the neighborhood. She's got like an X post that goes down. It's ridiculous, man. So there was 3 other people. All 4 of them ended up having a meeting in 2010, a reunion at the medical center.
No.
Yeah, the organ. They
Don't
do that shit.
That.
They do that shit. And,
that's so creepy.
And the mother came too.
Oh my God!
His mom came too to see all the people's lives. It made her feel good to see
his organs
my
together.
son saved all these. So I got half my son in this room.
I can feel Chris in here.
Yeah. So she said, I know people had said bad things about him, but he was a giver. Those recipients gave him back to me. That day I got Chris back. That's the way she felt about it. She felt like he was living on through them here. She says that she is semi-retired. She got married in 2008, his mom, and she still stays in contact with her grandchildren there. She said that her and the mother and the fiance speak frequently, in spite of her feelings by some that Tonga played a role in Henry's death. Yeah. Basically, she says at this point, it doesn't matter. I don't care.
She don't give a fuck.
She says, quote, I have to stay close to her to monitor what is going on with my babies so we get along. Mm-hmm. There are no problems. She don't give me no problems. I don't give her no problems. We communicate and we just love up on each other for the kids' sake.
Oh, that's nice.
In other words, it's what are we going to fight and then I'm not going to see my grandkids?
Right.
Which is what would happen. So she's doing the right thing for her. June of 2010 is the autopsy. Says that there was no traces of alcohol or drugs in Chris's body when he died, and they didn't test for other things, but it's blunt force trauma. Now, June of 2010. His brain is being studied at the Brain Injury Research Institute at West Virginia University, and they come out with in June of that year, June 2010, that Chris had CTE.
Of course,
already at 26.
Yeah.
They said at this point they were shocked because they said it had been the youngest case they had found. Now they find it in 18-year-olds, but at the time they said he was only the second active player they found with it that was active. Now it's so many of these guys.
Who the hell was the other one?
It was a guy from 200007. I can't remember his name here.
That died, obviously.
Yeah. It was no. It was the only the youngest one before that was Justin Strzelczyk. I don't know how the hell you say that.
Is he dead?
He's 36, who had been retired for 5 years, and he died in 2004.
Yeah.
And so they were saying that was the youngest guy before this. Now it's way less.
Well, it's going to be hard to find them that young because in order to find that, they got to be fucking dead.
That's the problem. You had to study the
fucking brain tissue.
Tissue is the word I'm looking for.
You can't just do that with a CAT scan.
No, you can't just you're fucked. So it's really wild here, this whole thing. He's the 22nd pro football player to be given that diagnosis. That's how few there were at this time. So it just started. He's the first to have died with the disease while still active. When before that this is when they were starting to, change the helmets and do shit like that. He said
change rules.
Yeah, the doctor said, quote, because this was a West Virginia guy, he used to be the team's physician.
Really?
So he knew Chris Henry since he was in college.
At his goddamn brain.
Yeah, he said, as we got the results, my emotion was so sad. It's so profound. He said, he's a former team physician for the Steelers too. He said that, I was surprised in a way because of his age and because he was not known as a concussion sufferer or a big hitter. That's the other thing. Is there some lower threshold, when you become at risk for this disease? I'm struggling to see if something positive could come out of this. This is the thing. In college and in the pros, he never had to report a concussion. Not once.
Wow.
Which makes a lot of sense because guys don't report concussions for the most part.
Yeah.
Remember when Gronkowski retired? He said, I don't know, I had 30 concussions.
Right.
They said you had like 2. He goes, I didn't report the other ones.
Those are reported ones.
The only concussions that get reported are when you're knocked so cold that you can't get up.
Or you're woozy.
And they have no way to, most of the time, if they get dinged, they'll just come up acting like they got the breath knocked out of them. That's they do. Act like they got the wind knocked out of them.
Right.
If you lay there and pull your knees up and hold your gut, they go, got the wind knocked out of them. That's what they do when they got hit in the head.
Wow.
They just know to grab their stomach and do that, not grab their head.
Wow.
It's like they have trained themselves, do not grab your head if your head gets hit, because then it's automatically they're going to do the whole concussion protocol. But if you say, I just knocked the wind out of myself, they don't even check you over. They just go, cool, you're fine. You're good.
They do that now, right?
Fuck yeah, they do.
You think so?
What do you think? Every time a guy falls down and hurts his leg, they go check his fucking eyes and check his concussion? So. They absolutely don't do that. They check it when a guy gets knocked out. Yeah. When a guy gets hit hard, when they say his head hit the turf, they do it. They don't do it when a guy gets his bell rung and nobody notices. The guy gets up and says he's fine.
Oh, Jesus.
Because he wants to have a fucking job.
That's depressing.
That's why, there's no safe way to play football.
No, there's not.
We all have to decide this. We all have to figure this out as a society. Mm-hmm. There's no safe way to play football. There's no safe way to box. There's no safe way to do MMA. Yeah. There isn't. There just isn't. There's no safe way to play hockey. There isn't, unless you have no contact, which is boring and no one will ever watch that. There's no way to play those sports in a way that someone will pay money to watch and have it be safe.
Right.
So we all have to just go, okay, when you sign up, you're signing up to get your brain mashed into pudding. Okay. Yeah. Is that okay with you?
But
and then is that a decision that you can really make at 20 years old when you're poor?
But then go ahead and buckle in and don't feel bad for Antonio Brown when he loses his mind on TV and in the paper and the media. That man's head is mush.
It's probably fucked up.
Vontez Burfict started it or at least finished it. All those eggs are scrambled. It's a fucking mess.
It's fucking ridiculous.
It's going to go bad for him.
I would say so. A special teamer for the Seattle Seahawks at the time, Sean Morey, I don't know if you remember him, player for leagues. Yeah. He said, it's very emotional to hear. It rattles me. The fact that this has been found that guys played against the last year, an active player, I think it's sobering. You have to ask yourself, how many are playing the game today that have this and don't even know about it? A shitload.
Look in the mirror and go, do I have it?
Probably. Yeah. Just think, just hit the constant hit in the head here, hitting the head. Like I said, and if you're 6'4" and you've been hitting your fucking head your whole life anyway, and then on top of that, you play football, you're going to have some shit going on
here. And in that division with the Steelers, the Browns, the Bengals, and the Ravens,
he's not an over-the-middle guy.
At each other.
It doesn't take being an over-the-middle guy. The whiplash of hits, even. You don't have to hit your head. That's the other thing. That's a good point. Well, they found
just to bring bouncing
the whiplash of it. But that's how a lot of these concussions start. Yeah. The guys are so fast and strong now, literally the impact of hits, they don't have to hit their head at all. They can get a concussion
right in the chest.
Just from their fucking body stopping so suddenly, which is insane.
It's called momentum,
it's
and there's
crazy.
Shit in your brain's not attached to anything.
You're all too big and strong now. Stop. Too much. Take it down.
Or don't bitch when you're a mess.
If you run under a 4.540, we can't have you in the league anymore because you're going to kill each other. So they said that they plan to speak with his family members to learn if he had any head injuries while he was in high school or anything like that. The doctor says, I don't want to imply that this is an NFL only phenomenon. While the brain is young and vulnerable, it sustains an injury. This can happen. He also said players spend 17 years banging heads in the pros on every play, and you think that it's exposure based. Now with Chris being so young, we have to rethink that. This is when they were still trying to figure it out. Now they know it can be one shot and you can be fucked up. So this was right after the NFL strengthened several rules about the requirement people with concussions can't return to the same game. Before that, you could get a concussion in the first quarter, come back in the third.
Really?
Yeah, there was no rule against it. Now they have to be cleared by independent experts. All you have to do is get cleared by your team doctor. You know your team doctor.
Now it takes like 4
Bill,
days.
come on, dude, I'm fine. Bill, I'm telling you, I'm fucking fine. Let me in there. Where if it's an independent guy, they're like, I don't know you. Fuck you. You're not going in. Whereas this team guy, he's got to live with this every day. And if the quarterback doesn't like him, guess who's not going to be on the team next year? The doctor. You know, team doctor's going to get fired if the $100 million quarterback doesn't like him.
You just like to win? I like to win.
Yeah, so it's ridiculous. Maury said, quote, we have to educate the players. The players have to have the ability to have informed consent. His aunt and his mom said they're very convinced that is a problem with him. His aunt, Leatrice Hollis, said, everything from the CTE report was an aha moment for me. Chris was concerned about his mood swings. We talked extensively about that. His mother said that she had no idea that he was suffering from brain damage, but looking back on it now, she said the signs were there. She said, I know the major thing was headaches, the mood swings, the forgetfulness, or the lack of patience. You think you are with this one person, the next time he is a totally different person. I was wondering if it was just me or had the family been noticing it, but it was confirmed when he got the CT scan and they were talking about it. The paperwork I was reading said that part of the issues he could have was early Alzheimer's and early dementia. That's scary. I just thought they were going to do research. I didn't think they were going to call me and tell me something extreme like this. This was a big surprise, which I would fucking say so. That's you don't expect that a guy who's not a big hitter or but he was the same thing. Like with Chris Benoit, they were like, I don't know, we thought he was fine, and they got his brain. And they were like, oh, it's 100-year-old man's brain who's been hit in the head a lot. That's fucking crazy. So Chris is buried at Our Lady of Perpetual Help Cemetery in his hometown down there in Louisiana. It's about 2 miles from his high school that he played in, is the cemetery. Now, Monica Beeman, the rape accuser / murderer, she is in the Dayton Correctional Institute, prisoner number 68653, 4104 Germantown Pike, Dayton, Ohio 45417 USA. She is looking for people out there.
Oh, Jesus.
I found her on Write a Prisoner.
Oh, no.
She says she is, quote, single black female seeking correspondence from anyone who appreciates a fun, loving, loyal, down-to-earth woman.
I'll cut all of you.
Whoa. I'm determined, focus-driven, educated, positive, and most definitely a go-getter. I will go to your house and stab you for $30. I'm health conscious, not yours, mine. No. Into fitness, I'm also adventurous.
Fitness knife in your chest.
Fitness knife up in your shit. I'm also adventurous, not scared to try new things, including carving large letters across your chest. Wanting to share my thoughts and ideas with someone else, currently an animal trainer and college student. If I have peaked, and she said it not with the Q. Right. She said peak like I'm peaking in something. If I have peaked in interest, please contact me at jpay.com. If I've peaked in interest, please give me money.
Yes.
So Monica Beeman's out there. She sounds like a real winner.
Don't you dare give her money.
18-year-old prostitute who stabbed a man and pled insanity. She seems like somebody you want to hang out with.
Big DMX fan.
Oh, she's great.
Exhibit.
Wow. Definitely. Can't get enough of Chris? Well,
wow.
He appears on 363 football cards, including 86 autographs and just 13 memorabilia cards. His most valuable card at Beckett's.com database is 2005 Finesse Black X-Fractors, number 165, which is valued at $60, while his most valuable rookie card is 2005 Exquisite Collection autograph number 46, valued at $40.
Unbelievable.
Find it there.
Yeah.
Tons of autographs, jerseys. You can get a number 15 Chris Henry jersey just about anywhere. There's cards. He has little figures and all sorts of shit.
He looked like a cat.
He did. He was like a smooth, kind of like handsome cat.
Yeah.
Like he was like
high cheekbones.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he had
he looked like a Nordic model, a dark tanned Nordic model.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't know about Nordic, but
a Switzerland.
The
model.
Bone structure of a Nordic model.
Women in New York are fucking furious.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
What a waste.
Yeah,
what a waste of cheekbones, Chris.
Cheekbones. He's tall and lean. He's got it all.
Cheekbones for days.
Cheekbones for days. Hey, cheekbones for days. That, everybody, is Chris Henry. That is a tragic tale there.
It's a waste.
It's a waste. I feel like it's like half a crime and sports story.
It's a waste in so many ways.
Yeah. Well, it's a waste. It's a waste of life, and it's a waste of everything on a human level, obviously. Yeah. But then it's also a waste for us that
he could have fucked up for years.
Well, he could have went back, been good now, and that was so the springboard for the next level of his crazy, like his late career and then post-retirement crazy.
He had CTE, James.
Oh, he would have been arrested for like fighting a stranger on a plane and shit like that. That's the type of stuff he would have been.
We would have had some firsts out of
We would have had some firsts, but instead we had to talk about that because I thought the death and the CTE at such a young age, and then the Monica Beeman thing was just so interesting.
And the comparison to Steve Howen to die the same way.
The story just grabbed me.
Minus a meth session behind the wheel.
And Steve was actually driving and all that sort of shit. This didn't have to happen.
No,
put it that way.
It didn't.
She drove away. He went back in the house. Everything would have been fine. And instead, it's a huge waste. And so Chris Henry's gone. There it is. That's Chris Henry. If you like that story and all the other stories, do us a favor and help us out. Get on Apple Podcast, that purple icon, and give us a review. 5 stars would be wonderful. Doesn't matter what you say. It's not for our ego. It just helps drive us up the charts. So please do that. Give us 5 stars and say you're following instructions or some other shit. Doesn't matter. Go to shutupandgivememurder.com for all of your small town murder and crime and sports memorabilia. We have so much stuff up there right now. All sorts of new stuff. Check it out. By the way, we are at the end of finalizing our tour schedule for next year. So, you want to get on, you want to check those out. Shutupandgivememurder.com will have all the dates. Also follow us on social media where, that is where we announce things first, even before on the show. So if you follow us at Crime and Sports on Twitter and Facebook and, at Small Town Murder on Instagram, you're going to get all those dates up to date. We are going to have some crime and sports dates in there. And so, hopefully this will be fun. There is I think there's 5 tickets left for Crime and Sports.
It's so close.
It's right there. Crime and Sports in Nashville on April 8th at Zany's. Get those. I know it's 5 months away, but get the tickets now because there's 5 left. Right. So if you want to come, we're doing New Jack and it's going to be fucking crazy. We did it in Phoenix. It's the most bonkers story.
I can't wait.
It's crazy. Jimmie was so many. Huh? What? Get the fuck out of here.
How?
So many times.
Why?
He didn't say that. No. Yes, he said that.
Oh,
a lot of times.
Jesus.
So there's footage. Oh my God. That's Jimmie's reaction through the whole thing. So come check all that out and see us there. If you want to be a hero of ours, and I'm talking an extra big hero, actually we consider part of the team here, you can do that super easily. You can become one of our producers. All you need to do is head over to patreon.com/crimeandsports or go over to PayPal and use our email address, crimeandsports@gmail.com, and you can do that, and we are just blown away and thankful for every cent that you do. You can find both of those right from Shut Up and Give Me Murder, like I said. So I think it's time. I just want to hear them now. These make us feel good. Jimmie, let's hear the names of the most wonderful people in the world. Hit me with them.
This week's executive producers are Greg Zadonik, Jeff Rash, Shailene Wilson, Holly McKee, Emma Stroll, or is it Enna? No, that's Emma. Is that Enna? Emma? I think it's Enna. Enna Stroll.
Okay.
I think so.
All right. I'll buy that.
What did I do? Susanna Platt, Tanya Volanek, Stephen Rude, Deborah Pinto, Brian Bodner, probably Bodner, Jordan Bennett, Marion Kahn, Rhonda Allred, and Mel Thacker.
Thank you so much.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
that was
amazing. Thank you so much.
Sweet.
You
guys do some things for us.
You are the executive producer this
You're
week.
You're the director this week.
Yeah, you are. You're the Unreal. Dick Wolf this week. You get your own screen with a credit, Dick Wolf.
The walking around money that it was. You guys are so sweet, and you helped me get my daughter to urgent care and then the emergency room this week. Thank you so much. Other producers this week are Crystal Smith, Kenneth Garrity, Hannah Phillips, Colin Luck or Lukey, Frank Tripaldi, Zach with no last name, Ken Thompson, Jocelyn, no last name, Ty Toribio, Lindy Simmons, Andrew with no last name, Monica Fabry or Fabra or Farb. I don't know.
Might be Farb.
It could be Farb.
Farby.
What do I know? I watched football.
You know nothing.
I know nothing. Marie Nuss, Allison Walsh, Alex Hooper, Rachel with no last name, Katie Hoyam. Yep. Kevin Mathis. John Lash donated both ways. Thank you so much, John.
Thank you.
Jen White, Sarah T, Peter Elaine. Aaron Taylor, Pam Adams, Carrie Abbey, Rebecca with no last name, Shaug Loked, Smog. What?
Huh?
Smaug
Where did that come from?
Jason Stewart, Miranda Reinhart, Chris Kelly, Melissa Velo, Becca Thompson, sorry. Logan for Haley Stratton. I guess it's for Haley Stratton, and Logan donated.
Oh, well, thank you, Logan and Haley.
That's right. Nikki Bumberly? No, Dumberry. Bumberry? I think, what? Bomberry? I don't know what I wrote. Pucker brush? Michaela Lyford, Josh Wilkinson, Jennifer Portillo, Jennifer Hollow, Dizzy Olive? Dizzy Olive. I think that's right. I doubt that's somebody's name, right? It might be. Could be. Justin Eskew, Lisa Mazajewski, Richard Wenzel, Jake Kokesh, Lee Straub, Jenny Lakari. No. Josh Wardle, Wendy Castiglione.
Yes.
Yep. Owen, Luis Reyes, Brian Borer, Lauren Groff, Kaylee Godwin. No. Yeah. Goodwin.
Hey.
Or is that God? Damn it.
You wrote it.
Aaron Sayer, Kelly Noel, Noel, I think. What the fuck is wrong with me? Tyler. That's an L.
You are awful this week.
Tyler Garner, Angie Massey, Zach Carano, Tiffany F. Easy enough. Dylan Ely, Marcel Del Corpo, I think it's Corpo. Shandell Whitney. Shandell, she has the daughter that's in overseas. Jennifer Speroni. Courtney Cox, probably not, but a different one. Chris Call, Kasuka Dragon, Kaylee Fitzsimmons, Zachary Hale, Tasha Watson, Alexandria Frazier, Tori Jordan, Amanda Miller, Luna Alvarez, Matt Burleson, Cami Rock, Jay Bonnie, Jay with the letter, Morgan Z, Ray Lamon Man, Chrissy Dabbler, what did that one say? Claire McGrath, that's what that says. James Fraker, Jacob Haverfield, Kaylee Green, is that right? No, it wasn't. Kelly Green. That's what it is. Jesus Lord. Colin Chapin, Chris, CRX CRVs. I imagine they're fans of Honda.
Honda?
Yeah.
Big Honda enthusiast.
Right. Amy Spicer, Angela Placentia, Shane Plummer, Marissa Cole, Mike Ortiz, Patrick Lau, Melissa Yazzie, Alicia Reese, or Alicia, maybe, and Jolie Pettis, and Jolie. Albert Oldenderp.
Problems there, Jim.
Yep. Heidi Cartledge Wallace, Callie Johnson, Ronnie Kumar, Kristen Bellinger, Teddy Christie, Ted Cyrus, Angel Eicher, Megan Brubaker, Rachel Misenheimer, Andy Soto, Corey Waffles. No, Cock Waffles. I don't know what that is. That's not real.
Corey Waffles.
God damn it, Corey Waffles. Lauren Rodino.
It's my new I'm Corey Waffles. So I'm going to check in the hotels under Corey Waffles. That's my new alias.
Anybody looking for me? I'm Corey Waffles.
Corey Waffles. Nice to meet you.
Lil Buckaroo, Emily Richardson, John Herndon, Whitney Luley, James Sutton, Janie Magnus, Chad Clements, Christina Hansen, Robin Anderson, Jess Hill, Jeremy Phillips, Tony Francisco, Pauline Robinson, Marissa with no last name, Crystal Fisher, Chelsea Joseph, Ashley Vietri, Corey Cohn, Ryan Benner, Jennifer Jones, Justin Inwood, Anne-Marie Taylor, Michaela Sawicki, Julie Haley, Robert Phelan, Christine with no last name, Corey Prada, Jesse Hartman, Tay with no last name, Jacqueline Donaldson, Tracy Mitchell, Holly Davidson. That's probably a play on words for Harley Davidson.
Maybe.
Probably not. Maybe they just like Holly. How's it feel to be Davidson though? Everybody calls
Davidson.
Everybody calls that motorcycle a Harley though. That guy Davidson got fucked.
Sounds like an old man who doesn't know. They're riding around them Harley Davidsons all over the damn place.
Somebody from New Orleans
making a damn noise all through the neighborhood. I can't sleep for nothing. These damn Harley Davidsons running all up and down the streets all the time.
Everybody rides a Harley though. Nobody rides a Davidson.
No one rides it. That's true. That's a good point.
Tracy Mitchell, Rachel McDougall, Michael Griggs, Peyton Meadows, Reagan Shaukley. Thank you very much, Reagan. You're fantastic.
Thanks, Reagan.
Brad Leswick, Jason Birchfield, I think, Christopher Arcement, Samantha Supan, Dan, James Martyr, Charlie Hawk, Mark Foster, Richard Elsie, Peyton Reiser, Amanda Lamb, Gary Howard.
Thanks, Gary.
Thanks, Gary.
Appreciate you, brother.
And all of our patrons. You guys are so fucking great to us. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
I'm blown away. Absolutely.
That was.
Thank you.
It's everything you do is crazy. We're just so thankful for it.
Humbly overwhelmed.
Absolutely. So thank you so much. We can't wait to see you at some live shows. Hopefully some of you guys will be in Milwaukee and Chicago in December for the Small Town Murder.
Good.
It's going to be wild and snowy and cold and shitty and weird, but we'll be there, damn it. We won't complain and all that sort of thing. So Jimmie, what if they wanted to find you? How could they do that?
You can find me at Whisman Sucks, WHISMAN Sucks on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, and the things you guys send. The words along, everything that you guys do for us is insanely, immensely appreciated, and thank you guys, truly, bottom of hearts stuff. What about you?
You can find me at Jimmie P is funny, or you can just copy and paste my last name, first and last name, honestly, from the show description. You can find me that way. It'd probably be a lot easier. I'm not the lawyer in Pittsburgh who has my name, or my father, either one of those. I'm the other one. So find me there and, follow us, do all that kind of shit. We won't bother you too much with our social media crap. Do that. Keep coming back. And thank you guys for being here for all these years. We're excited to be here for another 2 years of Crime and Sports.
Yeah.
We are excited for that. So,
so weird.
That is. It's so weird. And from the beginning, we're sitting next to the Crime and Sports Studios index card written in Sharpie that I did as a joke because I was like, this is funny at my kitchen table. Look, Crime and Sports Studios. And, we saved it for every one of them. And then Sarah framed it for us. And it's right there.
It is waterlogged from sitting on, from sitting on a table, not in a frame for 3 years.
Christ, there was like drinks on it and shit. There's like, it was not. For like the first year, we didn't think it was any sort of souvenir because we were like, who knows if this is what we're doing with this.
Yeah.
And then now it's like,
we just kept it.
It's this thing. So I will say it live from the Crime and Sports Studios. We will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like Crime and Sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. I'm going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles,
a big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud,
sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.